whole new vibe. Another quality product from Casa Preco.
This advert is FDA approved.
Hello everyone, thank you very much. Always a pleasure coming your way with the Ghana Premier League from the studios of Max TV. My name is Princeton and today we are focusing on the match that will be honored at the Baba Yara Stadium. Kumasi Asante Kotoko stay at home. They welcome their next door neighbors, Nations FC, to the grounds. It promises to be quite an exciting game by virtue of the fact that if you take a look at the league table and the top 4 teams, one has already honored their match day 26 match, which is Accra Hearts of Oak. And so there's a likelihood that victories for Kumasi Asante Kotoko may bring them to par with Accra Hearts of Oak. Victory for Aduana would push them towards the top of the table because Mediama are only leading the pack by just a point from the second position. By virtue of the table and the statistics, we are here in the studio to take a look at all that and more. Can Kumasi Asante Kotoko restore pride at the Baba Yara Stadium? Or will Nations run away with a slender victory? Or will it end at parity? Well, time will definitely tell. I've got 2 gentlemen in the studio who would help me with the discussions as we go through. Once I introduce them, we'll get into the fray. We'll take a look at the fixtures for the week past, that's match week 25. Plus, of course, pay attention to 2 matches that were honored on Friday as part of match week 25. And then we'll get into talking for today's game. Coach, or coaches, I should say, have joined me in the studio. But first of all, let's take a look at the fixtures and the results from the 2 matches played earlier on. So Heart of Lion stayed at home and they drew goalless against Accra Hearts of Oak. Not a very good favorite result for the Phobians. They've been drawing blanks in their last couple of matches. 11 Wonders managed to pick up a point at the expense of FC Samatex 1996. Closely fought encounter, but that 1 point means that 11 Wonders move from 9 points to 10 points. So they now join the other teams who have 2 figures as their points build up. For this afternoon, Kumasi Asante Kotoko will welcome Nations FC, as we said earlier on. Mediama Sporting Club, the league leaders, they are in Accra at the Tuba AstroTurf precisely as they take on Dreams FC. Baseke Holy Stars, Young Apostles have a tough date and a tough encounter. Gold Stars and Vision FC. One of the beliefs of many people is that when Vision travel away, they can cause a stir. Brekum Chelsea are not lying too well on the league table. In fact, they are in the relegation zone. They take on Karela United. Hohoi United, who have jumped out of the relegation zone, also take on another relegation-threatened team, Swedru All Blacks. Aduana FC, the last time they played at the Nana Fosuji Abuo Park, it brought smiles on their faces as they won their MTN FA Cup quarter-final tie. Can they repeat the dose? This time they're going to be playing against the landlords themselves, Bechim United. So these are the fixtures that are coming up. Mouth-watering fixtures. And we hope that you will stay on with us so we walk you through the actions proceedings. All right, now let me welcome Coach Sefa, seated on the far end of the table. Thank you very much for joining us. Almost always adds his astute knowledge of the game to the discussion. And then the man seated next to me has a lot of memories by me. He's simply known as Yao Preko. Started out his career as a footballer from the under-17s. He's graduated through every national team. He is now a head-on coach. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was telling you earlier on that I hardly see you during the day. It's good to see you during the day. I've got a lot of memories about Coach Yao Preko, and everybody will think that, oh, he's going to talk about under-17. No. My greatest memory of Yao Preko was his first match in the Phobian jersey when he played at the Accra Sports Stadium, and he was making the dashing runs at the Usu end of the
Gee.
Oh, sweet memories, coach.
Sweet memory, yeah.
I tell you.
Oh, yeah.
And this tells you how far these gentlemen have come in the annals of football. It's always a pleasure having a chat with them. Thank you very much, gentlemen, once again, for joining us. Now, let's go to some action on the screen. We've taken a look at the fixtures for match week 26 coming up. But let's go back a step and see whether we can recap some highlights, especially from the Heart of Lions Accra Hearts of Oak game, where we had a lot of chances going on in the game, but we couldn't record any goals. 11 Wonders managed to get 2 against FC Salmatics, which puts them in not a very good position, but at least it elevated them from 9 points to 10 points. So Bando Stadium, to be precise, was where the battle was. It started with Accra Hearts of Oak creating a lot more chances against Heart of Lions. Heart of Lions also did their best to catch Accra Hearts of Oak on the break. Nothing seemed to happen between the two sides on an afternoon of association football. Coach Stefan, you watched the match closely, and prior to the game, you had also watched the build-up of the two teams, especially Heart of Lions, who played very well at the Cape Coast Stadium, but lost in that quarter-final tie. What were your impressions of this game?
Well, I must say that what I witnessed was not what I was expecting.
What you were expecting, okay.
I was expecting a high tension and high equal game based on the Hearts of Oak away performance, and of course Heart of Lions also struggling in the league based on the quality that they have.
Sure.
I could only single out Ichi Dogli, the midfield of Heart of Lions.
He stood out.
No wonder he won the man of the match.
Stood out,
possibly Ali Mohammed of Accra Hearts of Oak. I mean, both teams had to just have one shot on target for the 90 minutes, which tells you that it was very bad.
But why so? Was it because the defense of the opposing team was good enough that you could not even get the chances to shoot?
No, the chances came. I think that the strikers were not purposeful out front. Their decision and then awareness too was not good. As of Oak attackers, for me, I've always complained about the way they found, they position themselves and the way they play their game. For Heart of Lions, of course, Michael Epson, they taught that ASANTE. So, I mean, goalkeeper to your mercy, watch this one. And it's very bad to see a Premiership players playing like this. I mean, at this level and at the stage that we are, week 26, you don't expect teams to be playing like this. So personally, I never enjoyed the game, but I think that there's more room for an improvement.
Let me ask you this question, and probably let's take a general or a totality look at this. But let's zoom in on the match that we saw. Is it that we don't have that much quality in terms of strikers in the league so far? I mean, I'm looking at a couple of matches to go, and our leading goal scorer has not even passed the 15-goal threshold.
He's leading with 10 goals. That is Atakumi of Baby Any Goal Stars. And you know, the issue here is that yes, there's not much quality compared to years back. Let's go 5 seasons ago. I mean, season after season, it seems that this season's quality is not up there yet. I'm saying this because everybody is mentioning strikers. But in modern football, it's the only strikers that scores goal.
That's true. It's all round.
Do you understand?
It's all round.
I take Hearts of Oak for instance. Everybody that watches Hearts of Oak complains about Hearts of Oak doesn't have strikers. I ask myself a simple question: how many of Hearts of Oak games have you watched, seen the offensive players shooting from 20 yards, 15 yards?
Sure. I don't think it's existent.
The one leading the Hearts of Oak goal king is Mauli, who operates from the flanks.
Yeah.
You see, so if Hamza Issa do not score, or Frank Abu Aduku do not score, and the chances comes on your way, how do you shoot?
Back in the day, and I mean, I'll ask Coach.
This is the only shot on target.
Yes, I remember.
For Heart of Lions, for the whole 90 minutes. And for Hearts of Oak, that was from the header from Mauli Wayo. And that was all. They were just blowing the ball. And I was surprised anyway. But at the end of the day, I think that we really need to look at this.
Coach, Yapeku, I mean, a lot of people have complained. I mean, the complaints are not only targeted at Accra Hearts of Oak. I mean, other resourceful football fans have taken a look at the standards of our game. At certain points, you would think that our standards have risen to an appreciable level. But sometimes you watch some of the matches and you ask yourself, what is it at all about the players, the quality? I mean, midfielders, strikers. Teams have proven that they've got some very strong defense. Accra Hearts of Oak, one of them. But yeah, you have played with some top quality, or you have seen some top quality strikers who only not score goals, but on a singular occasion, they can take it up to themselves, make their way into the 18-yard box and create scorable chances. It looks like this season we've dropped a little bit in that regard.
Yeah, I think, like you said, year after year, the quality of the league keep dropping.
Sure.
You could see mention the top 5. Mention the top players who can change the face of the game, when the game is in balance. We don't have players like that in the league. I saw this guy playing from the what's the name of this Kumasi team playing Kotoko? What's the name?
Nations.
Nations. That holding midfielder who is playing for House of Folk now. This Muslim
Abdul Karim.
Yeah. I saw him with Nations. I played against him with Swatramine.
Okay.
I saw the way he could shoot from afar, 30 meters, and then he came to Accra House of Folk and
it's gone.
It's gone. You know, sometimes it's the jersey, it's the team you're playing for, the pressure from the fans.
Really?
Yes, and you need, as a player, you need to break through. You know, if you are able to play for House of Folk, you are able to express yourself while playing for House of Folk and ASANTE KOTOKO. That shows that you've come to.
You have arrived.
You know, you've arrived. Yeah. Look at this goalkeeper. I had him on Asare. I had him at Olympics. I can tell you, Asare is not even better than when he was playing for Olympics.
Yeah.
It saves whatever that is. I won the G6 with Asare. He was our best goalkeeper. Asare just has matured. Because no disrespect, but the quality of the attackers in most of the clubs, they don't threaten Asare.
They don't.
And we're not, like we said, it's not about strikers. Everybody is talking about strikers. We should also look at the other players who can also help. Exactly.
Support.
Most of the teams are playing with 2 attacking midfielders. So what are the 2 attacking midfielders do? The wingers think they are wingers. They are not wingers. If you are playing for 4-2-3-1, if you are playing 4-2-3-1, then you have 4 attackers. The one playing in front of the 2 holding. And then the wingers, they have to know they are all attackers, and they need to deliver.
Okay.
But we are talking, we want the number 9, the so-called. That time is gone.
It's gone. Things have changed.
So you need players to also, make sure they deliver. But we are struggling across, for instance, now. Everybody is expecting Hamza alone to score. Now, if Hamza doesn't come, there must be options. Yes, there must be options. The players need to do more than they are doing. And people think, okay, I'm a holding, so I just need to just hold the ball. When he can also, create progress and create,
or even score himself.
Like you said, do we have creators?
Himself,
We don't have creators. So the balance is what is not there. Coaches are struggling to build, and when the players they get to a certain age, it's difficult to teach them.
Of course, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Exactly.
So
it's
worrisome. It's tough for the teams. It's not only about Accra Hearts of Oak. It's not only about Kumasi ASANTE KOTOKO. Like cuts across.
So what?
But at least 11.
Before you go on, just a second.
Quickly.
What we are failing to understand is that some few years ago, when you go to Bichim United, a certain Augustine Okra will carry the team on his shoulders and he will do the magic.
Yes.
A certain Salif Ibrahim in House of Folk, will be the most influential player of House of Folk.
That's true.
You see other players scoring.
That's true.
A certain Mbella will be scoring for Kotoko because there's a certain Isaac Opong.
Okay.
You go to Mediama, I can mention some names for you. You go to Ediana. But today, you mention the names all right. But the level at which they are playing, you ask yourself a lot of questions. Okay. Players don't improvise in today's game. And that is the problem. 2-3 seasons ago, players do improvise in the game, but today they don't improvise. They're always looking up to the coach to be able to come to the.
Well, I guess at some point we would also have to have a round table to take a look at what exactly is the reason why the improvisation is lacking in the game. Let's take a look at the effort of FC Samatex 1996. Again, it's not been a very good season, the best of seasons for them. They had the opportunity to play against 11 Wonders, who have already said their goodbyes unofficially to the Ghana Premier League. But they also came out guns blazing and managed to secure a point at the expense of the team from Aboy. And clearly, for FC Samatex, yes, trying to get the goals, trying to ensure some form or sort of survival, obviously, is good for the team. But again, when you are playing against a team that is struggling, you don't expect to, as it were, labor to even secure valid points. Again, we've seen some quality from elsewhere. We can't say the same for 11 Wonders because things have not gone too well for them, Coach Sifa. But you know that the dying horse will almost always try to raise the head to let you know that, hey, I'm not dead, though, I am still alive. It's just that I'm weak. You know.
You see, Prince, 11 Wonders, as you rightly said, are unofficially relegated. But when you watch their games, you clearly see that they have individual
they play some
players.
Brilliant, good football.
Ask the coaches that have played 11 Wonders, and they will tell you that they are a very good team.
Okay.
But at the back of the players, they are relegated. So what motivates them to play now is, look, when I do well, I may have a club coming for me. Even the coach, he is also trying to do a justify. Of course, because at the end of the day, they are already down. Yesterday's game, for instance, nobody gave them a dog chance to be able to even get a point from this game against FC Samatex. Samatex have a very strong team. I mean, you look at their Melford, a certain Samed Che, a certain Kweku Owusu, a certain Godfred Sefa, and the chap who had a goal for them, I mean, Godfred Osei, he is also from Park Academy. And looking at them coming back to get the 2 equalizing goals speaks volume. In as much as it was played on an empty stadium, they play some kind of delighting football. So for me, I think that they are already gone, but the players are motivating themselves just to do well. I mean, look at the kind of goal he scored. In as much as I think that the pitch also contributed to this goal, I think the goalkeeper should have known, because you did your warm-up on this pitch before the game started. Exactly. So you should be aware of the area that you possesses your points. And for me, I think that, you see, so he underestimated the ball, but you did your warm-up there. So sometimes you go to a venue, and this is the second time Samatex is playing at this venue this season. They went to play All Blacks, so you should be able to know at least a certain
the terrain of the field
of the pitch. And for me, I think that it was a true reflection of what happened yesterday.
Well, it's unfortunate. Samatex only had to go back to Aboy with a point when they could have gone back with 3 and put them in a better position on the league table. I mean, currently they lie 7th on the league table, and I'm sure that they would want to improve the standards on that. But then again, 11 Wonders, a dying man will always clutch at the straw, won't he? And so, despite the fact that they may be going off the Premiership level, I agree with my panelists. They still have some quality. In the eventually he scored.
You see, why the goalkeeper was furious was that, I mean, the reaction of his players. You see, the player with the jersey number 30, he thought
reacted late.
No, because he didn't believe his goalkeeper would be able to save that ball. But for Samatex, they knew that, look, we have to rush whether the ball enters the net or not. And that is exactly what happened. Awareness is one of the things that they are lacking.
Well, a lot more lessons are being learned from the Premiership games, and of course, chances will always come this way. It is how you react and how quickly you react that sends you through the male. Okay, so it ended 2-2 in the match involving 11 Wonders and FC Samatex. And with the Accra Hearts of Oak, Bando Heart of Lions.
I have a history
part
here.
of the you have a history there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Care to share?
I think 89-90 season we played Soccer Missionaries.
Oh, okay.
Hearts of Oak were suspended at Accra Sports Stadium, and they shifted our game to this pitch. And
this park.
Yeah, and they were informed where we thought it would be difficult for us to get to win against Missionary. Benowu, Kevin Asian, and
back in the day,
yes. they were
the squad
in the young, and we also had the likes of the Shamu. That's Shamu Jodebra.
That era.
It was a balanced game. First half balance, and then I think somewhere before end of the first half, I was given a pass on the right side. Benowu came out. I dribbled him to the bar line, and then he blocked me. I cut in, and then I used my left to. I think when I had nothing to do, just try, and the box was full of players. It was crowded, but the way the ball found itself in the at the back of the net baffles me up to date.
Your unfavorite left foot.
Yes. So the last time I went there with Kenichi, with House of Oak, we played a friendly game there, and I told Kenichi about and people from Swedru up to now they still remember that match. So that part of the pitch,
it brings back some memories.
Brings back memory whenever I see it on screen.
Okay, so 2 matches gone already. All those matches ended in draws. A goalless draw in Pandora, 2-2 draw at the Swedru Stadium. Let's take a look at the league table currently as it stands, so that when we delve into the discussion, it will become clearer. So Mediama on 46, they're still leading, but that gap has been closed to just 1 point by BBNE Gold Stars, who have 45. Now, Accra Hearts of Oak had 42. They had the opportunity of building on that, but they only picked up a point at the expense of Heart of Lions. So as I was telling you earlier, Mediama, BBNE Goldfields, Aduana, and Kotoko have an opportunity to change the top positions on the league table. Aduana have 4 points. They have 41. Asante Kotoko closely following on 39. Then comes Samatex on 38, together with Karela United. Vision FC, Heart of Lions have 34 points apiece. Now, the bottom of the table is where it gets a lot more cagier and a lot more dicey. Nations have 34 as well, so we've got 3 teams on 34. Then we have Baseke Holy Stars on 33. 2 points following is Dreams FC on 31. And then look at the next 3 positions. There's Hoho United, there's Young Apostles, and there's Bechem United, who all have 30 points. All Blacks on 28, Brekum Chelsea on 28, 11 Wonders on 10. So a lot of people will be imagining what happens to the teams who are in dire straits, cagey positions, especially juxtaposing that to the matches that they have to play today. So obviously a win sends you above where you are now. A loss may rather plunge you into deeper waters. And so with this in mind, let's take a look at the game that we are going to be concentrating on at the Baba Yara Stadium. It's Asante Kotoko, who are in the top echelons of the league table. They're taking on Nations FC. And so Nations are also coming in with their own little bits of problems. Nations on the 8th position. And so a win for Nations today would also seemingly push them towards the top of the table. But it's a tightly contested game, or it will be a tightly contested game today. First of all, gentlemen, I'll take your opinions of what you think of the game. We'll also take a look at their last 5 encounters and how close or otherwise it has been, to help build up our discussion as we go along. Coach.
Well, it's going to be a difficult game.
Difficult game for who?
For Kotoko. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
Because looking at ever since Nations entered into the Ghana Premier League, Kotoko is yet to beat them.
Sure.
And Kotoko, they've played 5 games. Kotoko have won 1, and that one was in an FA Cup played in Baba Yara's where Kotoko won by 4 goals to 2 or something.
Yeah.
But I believe that they beat Kotoko at the Kwame Chase Sports Complex. They've also beaten Kotoko at Obuasi, and they've had some points from Baba Yara's Sports Team. So they are coming to this game with full of confidence.
Sure.
And looking at the game that Frimpong Manson has played at Kwame Chase Sports Complex, he's just to lose a game, but he's won 1 game in the league away from home against the Whipping Boys 11 Wonders at Swedru. But they believe that they have a squad that can match Kotoko, and you and I know Kotoko is really, really struggling. And looking at the lineup, the team sheet that I have before me, there are just 3 players in front of me who are really, really going to worry Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Even though I know everybody knows what he's doing in the Ghana Premier League.
Sure.
Brandon Sapon, Entry Sapon. He was just a number 40, a left-footed player. He's also one player, very key. And one player in Milford who Frimpong Manson is using very, very well, a former player of Park Academy, Ivan Safo, who plays in the middle of Frimpong Manson setup. Sure. They have the range of experience in the person of Oko Gripman, Yapreko handling him at Olympics, and of course, Razak Simpson. Sure. Their former captain, Emmanuel Boahen, whom was transferred to Kotoko and later on came back to Nations FC, are doing. Kwame Boachi from RTU to Nations has played for the last 5 seasons in the Ghana Premier League. So it tells you how experienced they are. With Kotoko, they've not been consistent in terms of their team selection, in terms of the team play. They struggle at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. With 10 men in Hasselfolk, they couldn't win. With 10 men against Vision FC, they couldn't win. Kotoko struggles a bit. So, but when they went to Tamale to play Karela United, though Kotoko lost the game by a lone goal, and they also lost a man, that is Henry Ansu, who will be missing this game. At the end of the game, the goalkeeper for Karela won the MVP. Tells you that Kotoko did very well. So if Kotoko should come into this game with that kind of mindset, then they have a positive. But looking at the lineup before me, Kotoko needs to win the Medford battle. The likes of Prince Badu, the likes of Seth Kojo and Hubert Jehu. If Kotoko are able to win the Medford battle against the likes of Ivan Safo and of course Inzoli, that young chap in the middle of Nations FC, then Kotoko can do that.
We're looking at the last 5 fixtures of Asante Kotoko, and it doesn't speak well of a champion team like Kotoko. Just 1 win against Young Apostle.
Yes.
Then you pick up a draw against Vision FC. But those 3 losses, how important were those losses in terms of not being able to pick up the points? I mean, Heart of Lions did a yeoman's job against them when Heart of Lions hosted them in Kwando. Accra Hearts of Oak went there and beat them by 1-0. Don't forget, Karela had also invited Kotoko up north and had also beaten them by 1-0. Obviously, all is not well with the Porcupine Warriors.
Well, I believe that Kotoko should do a lot of orientation. And I also think that the technical, it's not always that you go to training, you have to touch the ball. Sometimes you need to have orientation with your players, let them understand why they are wearing the shirt for Kumasi.
It doesn't matter the pedigree of the team.
Yes, it doesn't matter. I mean, you see, the team is struggling. Individually, they have good players. But psychologically, I think they are not doing things right. So today, you have Hubert Jehu partnering, Seth Kojo in Medford, Wahid Nema will come in, Emmanuel Entry will come in, Prince Badu will come in. Kotoko has not been consistent in Medford. And looking at Kotoko in history, anytime Kotoko have good players from the right wing backs, let's start from the days of Kwesiapia to the days of Nana Ponsa as a CEO. And if Kotoko is having that right wing back solid, look at Kotoko's pivot. This is the weakest Kotoko right wing backs and pivot that they have in all these years. So definitely Kotoko will definitely struggle. In attack, the Kotoko attackers have been poor. Albert Amwa, the fans were hoping that returning from Libya, he scored a wonderful goal against Baseke Holy Stars. Yeah. And I believe that Albert didn't play a competitive game in Libya. So after that goal, he has been struggling. And I was even surprised he was used in the game against Heart of Lions when they lost by 3-1 because he was out of the game completely. Sure. And since then, he has struggled. Morifi Donsu, he's struggling. I mean, Dogo Yakubu is also struggling. Kwan Poku, he's not even in the team sheet. It tells you that Kwan Poku is off. Peter Amidu Akwa will give you a game whereby everybody knows that this is Peter Amidu-Akwa.
Yeah.
But without the ball, what does he do on the field of play?
Virtually.
Saka Dauda is not even in the setup.
Yeah.
So Kotoko has been experimenting, let me put it that way. We are in week 26.
Is it not too late?
That is what I'm saying. So for me, I know that the league is over for Kumasi ASANTE KOTOKO. The season is over for Kumasi ASANTE KOTOKO. They need to build for
the next season.
And that is how I think they should do. I mean, they should go into game. They should let their supporters understand that the season is over. What you see today is what we are building towards next season. And I think that if they do that, they'll get something positive from these players.
Okay.
They'll get something positive from their technical team. And the team will be okay. They just appointed some 3 board members and that they've gone to visit the players and all that. Samba Odell has met his colleagues. They've spoken about this particular game because they thought that it's humiliating for Nations FC to join the Ghana Premier League, and Kotoko can never beat them. So probably today is a day for Kumasi ASANTE KOTOKO players.
All right.
But it's a difficult game for them.
Let me find out from Coach Yapreko. I mean, from the technical point of view, Coach Sefa has enumerated some of the issues. You think the technical bench of Kotoko is technically bankrupt?
You know, as a former player,
yes,
you know, as a former player, you know when we know the technical team, we know when Zito was leading the team and how focused the players were and everything. No disrespect to Coach Prince, you know, but we know he's a bit limited, and his assistant was Hamza is also as well. So psychologically, what the players will give Zito, they will not give.
You will not be the same.
Yeah, and like Coach Ben is saying, when you can, as a player, you can realize, you know the season is gone.
It's gone.
So the focus and when they came in with the ambition and the expectation of the entire team, when they started the league, it's not the same.
It won't be the same.
It won't be the same. So they need to start like we know, Nation has become the new cornerstones.
Sure, they seem to be.
Kumasi.
Yes.
Remember when Cornerstone used to come in and spoil protocol parties, and Nation has turned into corner. So psychologically, the technical team, they will try their best to move Kotoko, like Prince said, he's the man for the job. They will move Kotoko to the next level, but they have to accept, you know,
the situation as it is.
Yes, and the pressure on the players should be limited because.
But Nations, they seem to be doing quite well, in my humble opinion. I mean, if you stay at home and you beat the league leaders by 2-1, then you go away to beat 11 Wonders by 2-0. And somebody will say that, you beat 11 Wonders, you know, so you pick up 2 goals against them. They had a difficult encounter when they played against Dreams, and then they went to Hohoe, and Hohoe United showed a little bit of that invincibility. So Nations lost in that game. But again, looking at the quality of the Nations team, like Coach Sefa enumerated, the quality of the players that they have there. And they seem to have an all-round team and they are in capable hands of a very solid coach.
You see, Frimpong Manson has tried to have his hands on the team. Initially, when he went, it was Mengel's tactical game plan that was there. Yes. So you could clearly see that he was really struggling, especially in away games, even at home. After even beating Mediama in the first half, the second half, Mediama took control of the game. And it has really happened in most of the game. But he has been able to bring some young boys into the team who are playing the way he wants them to play. So it has been very difficult, and he always wants to put pressure in the first 15 minutes at home. The performance will put pressure at you because he has got fasted players on the flanks who are also very skillful. Brandon Sapon, and you talk of Emmanuel Lano, a certain Joseph Ifa, but he's not playing today. He used to play futsal. So you know the futsal players, because of the size of the pitch, he's shooting from all angles. And that Ivan Safo guy, he's a very solid guy. If you remember Budasiri of Kotoko, you should have him. Copsin, that type of a player. He is playing the midfield for Frimpong Manson. He has experience, Razak Simpson, and of course Oko Gripman. They've been playing together for quite a long time. So the partnership is really, really working. Boahin has been off, but anytime he gets his chance to play, you could clearly see that, look, he supports Emmanuel Lano, and of course Kwame Boachi also supports Brandon. That is, they can also improvise on the flanks. But the truth must be told. Frimpong Wanso has really done well for Nations FC. Okay. Last season they nearly won the league. If they had not been their own decision not to continue that game at Baseke, they should have at least won the league.
Okay.
But this season they've really struggled a bit. But I think that they are okay. Kotoko needs to work if they really want to get a point in this particular game.
I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes of many a Kotoko fan. How are you going to support the team, especially in this game, with all the details that we have put there? Let's take a look at the head-to-head between the two sides. And again, you see that there may not be too much of a difference. I mean, a 2-2 draw in the 2023-2024 season. Before that, the first leg, season. Exactly. Then the first time around, Nations won by 1-0. You come to the 2024-2025 season. Nation captured it both home and away with wins. The only time there's been a stalemate was when the last time they played, when Nations drew goalless.
It even rained heavily before the game, if you could remember. I mean, people were even calling for the game to be postponed, and
I remember.
It was a difficult one. Kotoko has got individual players who, on a very good day, can handle anything.
But so has Nations FC.
Nations is playing as a team. You get my point. The difference is
that's the difference.
When you pick Oko Griezmann and Razak Simpson, they've played consistently for so many matches. But you take Samba O'Neal and Zakaria Fuseni, how many matches have they played together?
I see what
now, Emmanuel Kote is starting today.
Yes.
I think this is his third game for Kotoko after returning from injury.
Yeah.
Patrick Asiedo has been on and off because of injuries. When it comes to Prince Badu, he also got injured. I think this is going to be his second time after returning from injury. It is Hubert Yehuda. I'll say that he has been consistent in terms of
level of
Albert Amwa in their last 2 games or so has not been in the Kotoko setup. Peter Amidu Akwa has also been off. So it tells you that Johnson Opon. So it tells you that Kotoko has got the individual players, but playing as a team, as is that is imposed today because Kamara was red carded in the Karela game. So playing as a team, Kotoko may have a bit of difficulty. But if the players wants to play and communicate on the field of play, they should be able to play. Because at the end of the day, when you lose possession and I have more players behind the ball, I should be able to know where and when to go and when to take.
Let me find out from Coach Yapreko. In situations where there are a lot of eyeballs watching the game, you go to the field, you know that things are not going well with the team. You as the players, you know. But you try and put in your possible best to ensure that at least a face-saving result should be okay, at least so that the fans will not get double agitated. How do you play against a boisterous supporting base like Kotoko? You are playing at home. We have all accepted that things have not gone too well this season. We don't know what kind of pep talk the coaches give to the players. When the crowd gets a little bit hostile, instead of supporting you, supporting against you, how do you manage that situation?
You know, some of the players they don't have the heart. Like I said, playing for Hase Kotoko.
You need a big heart.
Yes,
you need a big heart.
You know, the fans can turn against you at any given time, and they can give you support. Just when Ogum won the league with them, right? Yeah, his first season.
Yes,
and I think the same year Nation qualified for the Premier League, right? But he lost to Nations. But he won the league.
Yes,
so Nation beat them.
The first leg, I think it was 2. They drew and then Nation won the
second leg.
Yes.
But still, he won the league.
He did.
Yes, they will forgive you. Yes, they'll forgive you because. But when it comes to when you're playing local derby, House of Folk Olympics, Nation Kotoko. Olympics we know with 5 supporters of Olympics, they can stand a whole stadium of Accra support, a whole stadium full of Accra support. But who are the Nation's supporters?
Supporters, yeah.
And you can't tell me you're playing against Nation and the supporters of Nation will intimidate you. I know
about 80% of Nation's fans are Kotoko.
That's what. But when they are playing Kotoko, in within them, they know they want bragging rights. Yes, but in within them, when they know if Nation beat Kotoko, it's no news. You know, if Kotoko beat Nation, it's no news.
But when Nations should beat them,
and the players, like I said, Cornerstones, and we know Cornerstone, they had they had this. They were supporters. The Muslim boys were boys of Ashidia boys.
Yep.
You know, but they don't go. They don't go to stadium to watch Cornerstone. They said they even go to the training grounds to watch Cornerstone than their matches. But when they are playing Kotoko, they come in their numbers.
Yes. Yeah. I'm looking at the faces of the gentlemen, and let's also consider this. Sometimes when you arrive at the stadium, your mood. Does it play a part?
It's in the it's sometimes in the bus.
Okay.
You could see the faces of your players that they are nervous, and I keep telling them, it's okay to be nervous.
Yeah.
It's okay if you are not nervous. That means you are not thinking about the game.
Sure.
You have to be nervous, but during the warming up, you're warming up. You're losing up, and before you come back to the dressing room, you have to make sure you push away all nervousness.
Yes.
But some of them, they carry it to the warming up, and you could see when they are passing the ball, you can see during their warming up, you can see some. If you wish to change, you do it.
You do it.
But,
okay.
So it's up to the. That's why some clubs they have psychologists. They talk to the players some minutes before the game, and all these things, all these factors
they play a part.
Okay. And for a player, it's good to be nervous, but hey, this is your job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You would have to stand up to it because you know that you have psyched yourself for 90 minutes of action, 45 minutes each half. We will start with our water break now as we wait for the players to settle in. When we come back, we will be trying to find out from the coaches the psyche going into the match, at least the first 45 minutes, what they're thinking. We'll also share with you the gentlemen to do the work on the field of play, and then we proceed with the game in the first 45 minutes. All this and more when we come back from the break.
Drinks, a whole new vibe. Another quality product from Casaprecon.
This advert is FDA approved.
I want to watch them out.
Even watches Ghana football these days.
Do you know Charles Taylor?
The president.
Charles the Terror Taylor. He terrorized defenses with his dribbles. Who know Dombote? The stadium was like for the general lifting up trophies. Stephen Odo was orchestrating the game. The legends of yesterday, they have paved way for the heroes of today. Do you know the Ghana Premier League?
No, Dad.
It's our game, it's our pride, and you watch it now live every weekend from now on.
Catch the Ghana Premier League live this and every weekend.
All right, welcome back from the break. Thanks for sticking and staying. We're all looking and waiting with bated breath to see the quality that we'll be putting on the screen any moment from now. We'll be zooming to the Baba Yara Stadium to take a look at Asante Kotoko and Nations FC. You can call it the local derby if you want to. And indeed, there are other local derbies that will be coming around. At the end of the day, we'll tell you how things have gone. There's a local derby in Bechem, by the way. Don't forget, Bechem and Indiana have a date coming up. But we'll stay with the action for today. We are crossing over to the Baba Yara Stadium, where the coaches are ready to talk to us. They are telling us their thoughts going into the game. Let's listen to what the coaches have to say.
Coach, March day 26, you are coming up against a Nations FC side that Kotoko has never beaten in the Ghana Premier League. How do you plan to change that today?
Yeah, it needs to be changed of the situation that we're in. It needs to be changed anyway, anyhow it comes out. It needs to be changed today.
Now, one of your prize players, that is Lord Amoa, is currently injured. Kote has come in, he played the last game. How do you see his comeback?
Yeah, I think I'm getting comfortable a little bit. Before it was very difficult for us. We saw the situation that was going to be very hard on ourselves, but his performance is just coming up every day. The time is coming up.
With the recent results that has come within the last few weeks, has the focus or the plan changed that is challenging for the title, which you told me from the start of the season?
Yeah, you yourself, you can see the futures doesn't tell who's going to win the thing. Those up there are not stretching the margin, but still very, very close. So it depends on us to, get our teams together and then win some 3 points today and then move on.
Last 2 games, no points here. How important would it be for Kotoko to get back to winning ways?
It means a lot. It means a lot. The supporters and everything, we need to make them happy. And today, the boys are ready for that.
Coach, it's March day 26. You are coming up against Asante Kotoko, a team that has never defeated Nations FC in the Ghana Premier League. Does that play to your advantage?
Well, that is past now. We are in the present now. So it's what is going to happen today. That's what we are looking at. It's good to have those history, but then for me, I don't care about what has passed. I'm looking at what's going to happen today.
You're unbeaten in the last 4 games in all competitions. How important would it be to continue that?
Yeah, at least it's giving us some hope. It's giving us some confidence. So we'll try to make sure we continue like that.
One of the best players currently in the Ghana Premier League, Emmanuel Ano, came back, is among the goals. How important would he be to this afternoon's course?
Yeah, he's been a very important player since day one. And for us, he's somebody who can at any time do anything. So yes, we have a lot of confidence, trust in him, and we hope you can get a good afternoon today.
Coach, we wish you the very best.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so Coach Frimpong Manso believes that anything can happen. He's not worried about the fact that nations are yet to beat Kotoko. Himself has not beaten Kotoko, his former club. So there's a lot to take into this afternoon's encounter. You heard him talk about Emmanuel Ano, one of the key actors in the game. He was in tip-top form when he was in Bechem United. And the reason why he got a first-time inclusion into the national junior teams. But of course, he's also gone through his paces. He's gone through his mill. But thankfully, he is second on the leading goal scorers table. He's got 9 goals. And so it's important for him. It's important for him to get a very good game today. Meanwhile, the top goal scorer is also in contention. So it's going to be very, very cagey encounter. Coach Eben, do you agree with the assertion of the coaches. We listened to head coach of Kotoko. We also listened to the head coach of Nations FC. Nations FC are looking quite positive in terms of what their head coach mentioned. Can we say the same for Kotoko? For me, it doesn't look convincing.
No, Coach Prince doesn't look convincing because you could clearly see that, look, he's really struggling with some of the players at training through injuries. He was talking injuries, about etc. Emmanuel Cote is coming up gradually. And he believes that by now those on the league should have widened the gap. But he believes that he only needs the 3 points to probably calm nerves. Within the Kotoko family. But I think that he's down. He's not sounding convincing. Frimpong Manso is also being cautious because as a coach when he was with BBN Gold Stars, he never beat Kotoko. Though he won the league. So he's also being cautious. Though he has got players that he can rely on, like he mentioned Emmanuel Lano. He's one of the finest players that on a very good day, he can destroy any team. He can also score goals. So I think that both coaches are being very cautious, but I think that Frimpong Manso sounds a bit positive than Coach Prince.
Based on your assertion, let's take a look at how Kotoko will start this game. The men that will be on duty this afternoon, at least when the referee's whistle blows for the kickoff. They still have regular captain Samba in there, so he's going to give the team a lot of support. Hubert Jehu comes in with his consistency. Patrick Asiedu, an on and off player, so is Albert Amwa. Seth Kwajo has the brilliance. Can he turn it into something positive in the game? Husseini Zakaria, Peter Amidu Akwa comes in as usual with his speed, especially from the flanks. Emmanuel Cote starts the game today. We've got Prince Bedu and Johnson Opongowusu all there with Dari Aziz Haruna starting as the goalkeeper.
Well, I believe that if Peter Amidu Akwa should have a very good day, the nations will be in trouble. Most of Kotoko games, if he's on his day, then you see Kotoko on the driving seat. That's what I'm looking at. Johnson.
I like Peter Amidu Akwa because he's got the pace.
He's got it, but when he loses possession,
he doesn't fight.
He doesn't fight for or probably fight for the ball.
He doesn't play like the man sitting next to you.
Yes,
because he also had speed, but he will always come back to recover.
But I think Kotoko should rely on him today because Boain is very skillful. He uses both feet. And I think that if Peter should have a very good day, nations will be in trouble. And of course, Hubert Jehu. You remember their last game, the coach spoke about Hubert Jehu, not listening to him anytime he gives his instructions. But I'm sure by now those issues have been solved and they should be able to do well.
All right. So nations will also be coming in with a strong squad, which also means that we should be on the lookout for some of their players. My interest rather would be how Razak Simpson pairs comfortably with Raymond Oko Gripman. Oko has built the experience over time. You know, he had a very firm performance with Accra Great Olympics back in the day, and he seemed to have upped the game when he pairs Razak Simpson. They would have a lot of running in the game because Emmanuel Ano also has that pace. When it comes there, we've got Brandon also starting the game, but Suhini Suleimana also plays consistently well together with Kwame Boache, Abdallah Mashoud. Frederick Nzole also comes in quite
he's a very interesting player.
And then Usman Sanon, the goalkeeper, Rabin, he will have a strong wall in front of him. And again, how purposeful does this lineup look like?
It looks good. I mean, watching it on paper right now, that this is clearly a team that you can rely on when you want to see a team play. Especially Ivan Safo, Nzoli, Melford, and Suleimana. These are young guys who can run, play. Frimpong Manso will always want to target Brandon Asante. 1v1, he's very good. So if Kotoko should be very cautious, then I think that the long balls from Oko Gripman and then Razak Simpson to Brandon Asante, they should be very watchful. And of course, Emmanuel Ano will be running a lot. But let's see how Patrick Asiedu will be able to handle him.
Okay. So, Coach Preku, you want to take a look at how...
I when you look at the pitch itself, you know, it's a bit dry. You know, when you want to see better football, you need to put a little bit water on the pitch. And, you know, players like a pitch, a wet pitch. Because sometimes it doesn't give, it doesn't make the game flow. But when I look at the back, the two central defenders from Nations, Oko and Razak, very confident. Oko sometimes, like I said, sometimes you need to move out of your comfort zone for people to see how good you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Oko kept on in the Olympics. You know, he's Olympic supporters because he lived not far from them. You know, when he does well, they will give him a hand. When it doesn't go well for him, the same people will come and bet.
You see, playing Albert Amoah alone against these two rugged centre backs.
That should be tough for Albert.
I don't know why Kotoko is going for that one top playing at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium with defenders that probably you've seen in the league.
Yeah.
But probably Coach Prince have something under his sleeves.
Oko played against played with Albert
at
Olympics.
Yeah, they know each other very well.
Yeah, they know each other. So Albert is intelligent. Albert is personally, I think Albert is stronger than Oko. Oko looks tall.
Yeah, he's
but
got
he's
the
very
structure.
feeble. But he's very feeble.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's feeble when it comes to one-on-one. But Albert is strong on the ground. He's so Oko is intelligent. He will know when to go in, especially when the ball is in flight.
Yeah, yes, very interesting.
Yes. So it will be very interesting to.
It will be very interesting to watch, at least for those who remember the good old days of Albert at Olympics together with Oko Greatman, and of course Yao has handled them before, so it's easy for him to explain into detail. First 45 minutes coming up. Quickly, before I cross over to Baba Yara, what do you think? First 45. Close game?
I expect a goal in the first half, but I don't know which side the goal is coming from.
The goal is coming from.
It's going to be a very close game.
Very close.
Very close. Let's see the first 15 minutes.
Okay.
15, 20 minutes.
Will give us a fair idea.
Okay,
all right. Over to the Baba Yara Stadium we go as listeners. Class of commentators are standing by to take us through the first 45 minutes. It's Kumasi Asante Kotoko taking on Nations FC. Do sit back, relax, enjoy the first half. We'll come your way at halftime.
At Nations FC. Now the Warriors are looking into having some exciting moments in their football, but the fans are really not coming to the stadium in their numbers. Just a bit worrying situation for Asante Kotoko, but that certainly will mean that both teams are going to walk into this arena and trying to find out how best they're going to detain. I wouldn't want to say the MTC though, but they have to find a way to get the fans into the stadium.
Yeah, good afternoon, Graham. Just like you said, it's a family feud, but definitely 90 minutes of hostilities. This is one of the fixtures where Kumasi Asante Kotoko, no matter how they choose to look at it, they've never ever been dominant in this particular fixture against their city rivals. Back then, it used to be King Faisal until they got relegated. Now it's Nations FC, and they find it so difficult, to beat this team. They are yet to win against them, and even to make matters worse, they are yet to score a goal in this fixture at home.
Well, as the two sides walk onto the pitch, Asante Kotoko yet to record a league victory against Nations FC. Well, a statistics that continues to raise a lot of eyebrows there. In the last 5 previous meetings, Nations FC have dominated this fixture by winning 3 of those matches against Asante Kotoko. So certainly you have a lot of work there for the coach who's sitting in as interim coach against Karim Zito's exit. And he has to change the fortunes of Asante Kotoko in today's game.
Most certainly he has to, and there's quite a lot for him to do, especially against a resurgent Nations FC team that are unbeaten in their last 4 games, in the top flight. That makes it even more difficult for Kumasi Asante Kotoko under their interim head coach. Just 1 win in 4 games so far, and it looks like the pressure keeps piling on him.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're talking about the match here at the Baba Yara Stadium. Asante Kotoko looking forward to seeing how best they can enjoy their football, how best the fans will be coming in. Asante Kotoko, obviously in their all red outfit, their nations in all white and orange, so they also walk in there. And this is one of the games that Asante Kotoko walk into. This game is a bit of pressure there on the Porcupine Warriors, particularly on interim coach Prince Yawusu. In his 4 matches in charge so far, he managed just 1 win alongside just 1 draw and 2 defeats. Around that really has seen a lot of scrutiny on him as whether he deservedly so would be the man to lead Asante Kotoko going forward.
Yeah, he's spoken quite a lot of times, but he's always said, these decisions on the pitch aren't his to make. He says it all the time that he expects the players to bury the ball when they create the chances. It's not like they're not creating chances. They do create chances, but finishing of these chances has been the problem for Kumasi Asante Kotoko in the last 4 games under Prince Owusu.
Well, Asante Kotoko really made 5 changes in the setup there, and so 2 suspension there to goalkeeper Mohamed Kamara and of course centre back Henry Ansu, and so they both are not part of this game. The left full back Patrick Asiri also replaces Inusa Adam, and then Kwampoku, who's failed to score in the last 5 matches there for Asante Kotoko, and he is also sitting out for Peter Amiduakwa. 5 changes for Asante Kotoko.
Yeah, I've said it looks more like a 4-4-2 diamond, but this could morph into a 4-3-3, you know, whenever they choose to attack, dependent on the phase, on also what they are doing at a point in time. You have Johnson Owusu, Albert Amwa, and then also Peter Amiduakwa leading the attack for them with that support of Prince Bedu, and then also Seth Kojo together with Hubert Jiu. It looks like an attacking lineup, and you would expect Kotoko to break that jinx of never having scored a goal in this fixture at home.
Again, you talk about Nations FC, and specifically you're looking at how the teams are trying to enjoy their football, and almost everything that needs to work on them. It's particularly exciting moment for them.
Yeah, certainly for Nations FC, they've been quite ambitious. A number of times we've seen them, you know, this their 3rd season, you know, in the top flight, and you know, last season was the best season they had statistically, getting very, very close, you know, to the title until they were docked some 3 points there for failing to complete their game against Barca Kiholi Stars in the Western region, and then they lost those crucial points as well, and ended up slipping, you know, out of the top 4. But they're quite an ambitious team, and you know, whenever they come into this fixture, they have the hopes and, you know, that, you know, confidence that they can get a better of their city rivals, because Kotoko hasn't really fared well in this particular fixture in the last 2.5 years.
Well, Asante Kotoko here at the Babayara Stadium, and certainly they are looking to change a lot of things there for the fans who's here trying to see how they can support the side. But the interesting spectacle here is that Asante Kotoko want to start the first attack there on the right hand side, putting themselves in some awkward pressure there, and so centre back for Nations FC, Razak Simpson, ensuring that he wins back possession there for Nations FC. Well, it's going to be an aggressive display there by Peter Amiduakwa. Certainly one of the players that you're looking forward to. His marauding runs on the flanks, but he's got a lot of work to deal with, especially coming up against Emmanuel Buahini and Kwame Boachi, the left full back. So basically, there's going to be a lot of war there in midfield and defense as they try to have Raymond Okogripman, also one of the beautiful partners at the back there with Razak Simpson. Oh, lovely work now, Nations FC. The confidence in time they're playing Asante Kotoko, trying to push the ball around. But you'll have Asante Kotoko coming back to tidy things up at the back. Amiduakwa. It's a bit of an interesting spectacle. They're having the return of Asante Kotoko's attacking player Albert Amwa and Kwampoku yet to combine effectively to score. And Albert Amwa really getting the better of Simpson and goes into the box looking for space and nobody there to connect. And that's a lovely piece of work there on Albert Amwa, the man I was just talking about. And Razak Simpson was simply left looking for space. And Amwa, who scored just one goal after his return to Kotoko against Barca Kiholi Stars, beginning to open up here.
Yeah, and they're enjoying using the right-hand side of attack now. We saw Peter Amiduakwa, you know, very, very early inside that game with that good press, winning that ball. And then later on, it was also Albert Amwa with that run down the right-hand side. But it cut back a bit too heavy for the approaching Johnson Owusu, you know, to just connect to that.
Amwa again, now he loses possession. Tell you, ordinarily you expected to see Kotoko Tertiary here, but my intel tells me that they are not watching this game today because they are not happy Kotoko not winning matches.
Yeah,
but the interesting bit of it again is that you have Nations FC, who's got this very young supporters group known as the Catch Them Young Supporters. They're rather here sharing Nations FC up, but Kotoko Tertiary absent today.
Because obviously, you know, two contrasting stories so far. You have Kotoko not winning games, and you know, on the flip side, Nations FC unbeaten their last 4. They've won some good games. The last game was a 3-0 win against Bichim United. So, you know, these young fans would have every reason to troop into the stadium to enjoy them.
Again, you have another goalkeeper in the side of Asante Kotoko, Aziz Dari Haruna, who is stepping in there for Mohamed Kamara. And a bit of a story there about Aziz Dari. He claimed about 15 clean sheets in all competitions last season for Bichim United. At the point he went 10 games without conceding a single goal And he's switching play to Asante Kotoko. Now he gets a chance to replace Kamara, who's suspended for today's game. Well, the suspension happened off-field incident that happened in the match against Karela, where Kotoko lost by a goal to nil.
Yeah, in a game where many thought that whatever he did, his actions, were quite needless there after the game where they lost by 1 goal to 0. In a game where Henry Ansu also had himself sent off, and you talk about what he did, it's not justifiable enough. Which to a larger extent I believe has cost his team today, because if not for that suspension, definitely Kamara will be the one in between the sticks for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Not also taking away the fact that he's really been reliant, even though reliable, even though he's not really, or he's made some petty errors in recent times. He's still one of the best goalkeepers you'd find in the Ghana Premier League this season.
Trying to see how Nations FC will be able to get things going there for this match and today's fixture, where it's one of the toughest games there. But you talk about Nations FC goalkeeper as well, and expectation is that he'll be able to give them a clean sheet there. And Asante Kotoko once again have to come back defensively to clear the lines, and you then have to see the likes of Johnson Opong, the 45 share with possession now for Asante Kotoko, spreading play down to the right hand side, and he finds support there. And as Kotoko begin to move, Prince Bedu is also playing a role there. Albert Amwana combining well with Amidu Akwa. Lovely piece of work now. Amidu Akwa in the box now, dragging the ball back, and Simpson trying to flick it backwards, losing it out. And Nations certainly would have a player, Abdullah Mashoud, clearing things. Kotoko back again with possession. They are putting a lot of pressure there on Nations. Gripper now, and again, just losing possession, a very dangerous area. Simpson comes out here. Amidu Akwa with a chance on the left foot. Amidu Akwa! Well, it counts down to one thing. Rabin Sanon, the goalkeeper who's got 8 clean sheets this season. We're keeping 2 in the last 2 games. With that final touch on the ball there to deny Amidu Akwa a goal.
Yeah, brilliant save there by Rabin Sanon. Goes down. Just have a tip on that one. But it was Ivan Safo losing the ball in a very, very dangerous area. Kansas area, but just couldn't trap that ball the first time, giving away possession cheaply to Kotoko. That was a good save by Rabin Sanon.
We're talking about the play there. Well, corner kick. First of it there to Asante Kotoko, left with a tick in. And again, Simpson with a header here, but Nations FC without to now fiercely move forward, trying to drag it to the left-hand side, but it's been well dealt with patiently by Asante Kotoko. And that was a lovely piece of work there for the 3-shirted player for Asante Kotoko. Emmanuel Kote, who's playing today as a right full back today.
Really struggled with injuries in the last couple of seasons. Emmanuel Kote, a very good, pacey right back during his days at Inswachaman. Really being the kind of player he was when he used to play for Inswachaman until Kotoko acquired his services, though.
Yeah. Look at the bench of Asante Kotoko and look at the face of the players who obviously some of them will be hoping that they get a chance to play a part here. It's been a very difficult moment there for Asante Kotoko this season in terms of how they have played the matches. Amidu Akwa once again very much busy this afternoon. And it's a foul. 5th on the Premier League log, Asante Kotoko with 39 points after 25 matches, picking up 10 wins, 90 draw, and 60 defeats. The last defeat actually came in a match against Karela, and I'm not too sure that they want to go again by conceding yet any goal this afternoon. And they're trying to push the ball on the other side of play. And Nations FC mainly control the tempo of the game. In the midfield, they obviously want to have the likes of Evan Safo. Oh, good work. Beautiful play. And Nation is trying to find space. Brandon and Sapong, the left-footed winger, really doing his job beautifully there.
It was good, close control. Then not what he intended to do. Brandon Sapong already very flashy in this game. could see trying to dink that ball into the 18-yard box there, but execution just failed him at that point.
Sometimes you do see centre back ASANTE KOTOKO, and you have Johnson here. It's got two players to contend with. Trying to bring his player down there with a bit of a push there. Mano Boahin doing so well by winning possession there for Nations FC. Abdullah Mashoud also guide the ball out of play. Samba O'Neill sometimes not two players, a holding midfield. That depends on how the coaches want to deploy him in matches, especially so if Kotoko needs that bit of a midfield strength. That's when he's sometimes deployed here. Samba O'Neill has come back to win possession. Oh, nice play there for Nations FC to get themselves in a very good position against the crossbar. Nations nearly got the first goal. Wow. Emmanuel Arnaud just couldn't pounce on the rebound for a first goal there for Nations FC. But what a strike it was. First attempt, quality play. Nations FC nearly punished ASANTE KOTOKO.
Explosive. Suhini with that lovely pass, over the top of those two players there, Prince Bedu and then also Samba O'Neill in no man's land. But Emmanuel Arnaud should be doing better. He just had that ball at his mercy. All he had to do was to tack it, ensure that it was on target. But just look at that from Suhini. Lovely pass to Nzole. Hits that one against the upright. And instinctively thinking that he just should be bearing that, Emmanuel Arnaud.
On the other side, ASANTE KOTOKO do find himself in a very quick position. Johnson! Well, end-to-end action this afternoon here at the Babaiwa Stadium. Quality play by the two sides.
Yeah, similar situations there again. That ball falling kindly to Johnson Nowusu. He should also be hitting that one on target. And you're wondering how these two teams haven't scored yet in this game. Quite unbelievable looking at the quality of chances. And if you're talking about expected goals, it should really be up there, especially with Arnaud's chance where he missed very, very close to the goalkeeper's area.
We're just 10 minutes of play already. It's the goalless, but two teams have had very good chances at goal. ASANTE KOTOKO nearly got punished by Prince Bedu strike, and Johnson equally replying Nations FC with that. This is turned out to be something else worthwhile in terms of what the fans were looking to enjoy. Samba O'Neill just ballooned the ball away, and you could see the reaction there from Emmanuel Kote. Was hoping at least you could just get a pass to him.
Quite unusual of Samba O'Neill, one of the calmest, most tactically disciplined players you have on the pitch for Kotoko.
Entry Sapong for Nations turns well on the left, and Kote just beating Entry Sapong in the box. And ASANTE KOTOKO now have to defend this corner kick. Entry Sapong once again tormenting Emmanuel Kote on the left back.
He has this magical left foot whenever he has a touch of the ball, gets hold on the ball. It's so difficult to dispossess him. Just look at that, so strong again. He uses his body upper weight to his advantage again. Creates the space for himself, but good intervention from Zakaria. Already they're struggling to deal with his trickery, strength and pace.
Kotoko has considered just 16 goals, which makes them the fourth best defensive side. We're out with 9, some attacks with 14, and the journal with 14 in terms of goals conceded so far. Kotoko scored a total of 30 goals in this league, making them the second best scoring side in the Premier League after Mediana, with 33 of their goals have been scored, and now they have this corner kick to defend. So seeing a lot of players, and of course the backs trying to give them the thumbs up. And now they have to clear the lines, and ASANTE KOTOKO just get out of wood here, and Prince Bedu once again with another strike. But this time picked up by Aziz Dari Haruna. And again, he was talking about the work of Frederick Ndoli as well. And you're talking about ASANTE KOTOKO possession, just the midfield area. Albert Amwa trying to look for space on the right there, but Hamidou Akwa couldn't quite reach the run of Albert Amwa. Entry Sapong. A lovely piece of recovery there from Kote. Wins back possession. And ASANTE KOTOKO now in a very good place. Johnson also failing to get the ball. Hubert Jehu. Kote here looking to advertise ball into another far side, and Johnson looking to win possession away. Nations to have Gripman tidying things up at the back.
They've been pretty comfortable in defense, Nations FC, and you're wondering how they've managed to keep 2 clean sheets in their last 2 visits here, and it's just been because they've always been practical, very, very pragmatic, whenever it comes to defending, and that's what we've already seen, only giving away 1 big chance, in this game that fell kindly to Johnson Osu, failed to bury it, but, whenever they build up, you can see how they want to be steady, not to give the ball away, they build up slowly from the back.
Some years ago, it used to be King Faisal being the original rivals here at the Barbara Stadium, and Nations FC now taking over from King Faisal, beginning to have perhaps being a thorn in the flesh of Asante Kotoko in the Premier League. Simpson here. And Dolly. And Chelsea would have to recover quickly for Asante Kotoko. That's so. Nations FC sitting 9th on the Premier League log with 34 points after 25 matches. They only scored 9 goals in the last 5 matches as well. And now they want to whip the ball from long ranges, trying to cut Asante Kotoko off guard. 15 minutes already gone on the clock. And both teams have had a shot at goal. And a long ball here for Amidu Wakwa. Simpson would have to control that beautifully there at the back for Nations. Fine space in his goalkeeper, Rabin Sanon.
It's so easy for them now, especially when you're not applying any sort of pressure Kotoko without the ball. We spoke about the fact that without the ball it looks more like a 4-4-2 diamond, but it's just not going well for them in the attacking third.
I tell you what, this looks to me a very legal tackle. Both teams are just both players were good for the ball, and there you have it. Was it a bit of a notch there?
Exactly, I would agree with you on that. Yeah, Emmanuel Ano, and that's where the frustration is stemming from. Just look at that. Doesn't trip and wins the ball cleanly, and right, in front of the assistant referee there. I think it was just a wrong call. Any player at all would be frustrated by that.
Again, you talk about the centre back there, Samba O'Neill, very much disappointed. And there's a lot of pressure now, Asante Kotoko, especially the centre backs by Nations FC, who really attacking them from all angles. And Nations FC in the last 5 matches have won 3, lost 1 and drawn 1 as well. 3-0 win against Pechem United, 2-0 win against Wonders, and a 2-1 win over Midiema, with another 2-1 loss to Hapoel United, and 1-1 draw with Dreams, all in the last 5 matches. Nations FC, and here they go again looking for the first goal. They're searching for it, and Asante Kotoko would have to find a way to defend with Patrick Asiedu coming in.
Slow and steady, but then very, very precise and accurate by Nations FC. Whenever they're building up, they're never in the rush. They try to find men in open spaces, and this time another long ball causing all sort of problems. Mashoud Abdullah there trying to break that one down, but quick intervention.
Now they have a set piece here. Asante Kotoko to defend. Entry Sapon Brandon just behind the ball. Meanwhile, Asiedu is also riding in pain. Needs some bit of assistance there medically to get himself back on to the field. Again, Asante Kotoko currently are trailing league leaders Midiema by 7 points, leaving title a little bit of a margin for error if they have any plan. And there you have the Catch Them Young supporters of Nations FC. They are indeed looking to support the side to get a win, and have the Oak Seed for Hatsufuk, and Asante Kotoko also have the Young Porcupines, but Young Porcupines are not here because they are also showing their discomfort by coming to the stadium and not seeing Kotoko win. And again, you do have a bit of comfort for the Black Stars, who have matches against Austria and Germany. It's a big thank you for their support there. Patrick is really looking good, is he?
Well, he's not. After picking up that knock there, he's always been crucial to the setup. Certainly, they might be falling on Joseph Amwa, who can play on either side of that fullback role for Patrick Asiedu. He's still limping there. It's been asked if he could continue, but I doubt he'll be able to.
Okay, you have another opportunity here. Samba O'Neill whipping the ball into no man's land, especially so. And ASANTE Kotoko have failed to score in their last 3 home matches. A trend that is pretty much a worrying situation there for them. And their overall home form remains a very strong one in the Premier League. Their recent lack of a cutting edge has really shown how vulnerable they are. And Nations FC once again very much confident in trying to go forward there with the Sombra boss into the half. ASANTE Kotoko. The Nations so far have been controlling the midfield against ASANTE Kotoko. They really have seen a lot of the possessions. And Samba O'Neill would have to defend and swat the effort of our not to win it back and put pressure on him.
It's been so easy for them, Nations FC, and that's given the fullbacks the license to bump forward. Boahin on the right hand side, Kwame Boachi on the left hand side, all joining the attack, playing a bit more inverted because there's no pressure whatsoever, from the Kotoko midfield, especially having Zoli and then also Ivan Safo controlling affairs in midfield. It's really been dominant from them in the opening 20 minutes. And I think perhaps you would want to find Jehu more in the game. You would also want to find Prince Bedu, who's really been messing so far in this game, not really seen the best of these two players. And that's the reason why, to some extent, you find Nations FC controlling, the midfield.
Prince Bedu here for Kotoko. Now find space in the goalkeeper Aziz Dari. Kotoko now pinging the balls just around their own defensive lines. And there's been some bit of work there, Kote. And Emmanuel Kote really is not seeing plenty of the balls there. And a bit of a push that's going to be a throw-in advantage there to Albert Amwa. And here comes Kwame Boachi, showing his approval there, that he was nudged by Albert Amwa, and was looking for the call there in his favor, which was not given. Just Johnson go to him to tell him that, brother, let's just get the game going.
Yeah, he was waiting for the foul. He thought he was pushed there. Yeah, it was a bit of pushing him right in front, and just look at that. Yeah, Albert Amwa just from behind. He just wasn't happy with that call going his way.
It was around through here, and Simpson comes out. It's another very best of attacking play for ASANTE Kotoko. Prince Bedu here. Hubert Jehu. Again, looking for Johnson. Not the best of decision there from Hubert Jehu. Again, ASANTE Kotoko have struggled so far in terms of a cutting edge right in front of the 18-yard box of Nations FC, as they still have possession and try to move forward. Good play down in the box, and Peter Amidu-Akwa looking to cut in with the right and dragging the ball back. Amidu-Akwa is still stayed on, and flag never went up against him. But I tell you what, this is how close ASANTE Kotoko sometimes do come. They're trying to find a way to get the first goal.
So swift. Nations FC just didn't see it coming. It's always difficult dealing with the space, especially when he's playing in his element. Peter Amidu-Akwa, just a switch of play, one simple touch, and he found himself in a very, very dangerous area. The cutback was just dealt with.
Kotoko again. Kote. Another ball into the far side. ASANTE Kotoko have the first goal, and they do! And guess who scored? It is ASANTE Kotoko's Albert Amwa. He's returned to ASANTE Kotoko after going to Libya. He's back, and this is his second goal. His first was against Basake Holy Stars, and he makes it to the season with yet another beautiful header here to make it 1-0 for Asante Kotoko.
Yeah, you talk about header, a bit impressive, but what about that for a cross from Kote? Exquisite, just right onto the head of Albert Amoah. Yeah, a bit of a late defending there. They've been defending pretty decent up until that time, where Albert Amoah had to show a bit of strength there, an instinct there. But what about that for a cross? And just no one applying pressure on the fullback, who we've seen bump forward a couple of times in this game. But that was a beautiful wet goal. I think that could also take away some pressure off Albert Amoah himself, having not scored quite a lot, since his return.
Well, Asante Kotoko would have to be feeling a bit of uneasy here after seeing the first goal, or the first team to get the first goal here. And said Kojo, he's also trying to man the midfield there with Prince Bedu. Yet again, Asante Kotoko looking to have Amoah, who's been busy this afternoon. Simpson having difficulty dealing with him, and he concedes a free kick. And he's been one of the prolific strikers for Asante Kotoko. I remember before he left for Libya, he's scored a very wonderful goal against Brecon Chelsea at a Queen City Park.
About Simpson there, protesting his innocence, and Albert Amoah showing a bit, of strength again, using his trickery to his advantage, and that's what goals sometimes does to attackers. It just skyrockets their confidence, and on that occasion you can see Albert Amoah certainly getting into his groove after scoring that goal.
The man who provided the assist there, Kote and Johnson, looking to find space. He's got Kote here. Again, not able to go around his man. And there's going to be a yellow card, the first yellow card of the afternoon. And I tell you what, he's going to be shown to Kote. He lost possession and decided to pull back. Brandon, and of course, that's a decision.
Yeah, a bit needless there from Kote, when you have Johnson upon just closing in, trying to deal with the situation. Just not really what should have done at that point.
I tell you what, it's a lot of a tag of 4 going on here. Asante Kotoko eventually find themselves out of the woods. And here they go, Albert Amoah. Switching play beautifully there, Peter Amiduakwa just looking for Johnson, late in arriving, and Albert Amoah has been given it back to the Chari.
It's all about the transitioning now. The transitioning so quick now, and they always leave Nations FC on the back foot, backpedaling all the time whenever they have the ball. With Peter Amiduakwa, saw that run of Albert Amoah right into the box, hoping that that ball would have found him. And again, Razak Simpson dealing with it. That's what you would want to see, especially when the team is yet to recover, and just shape up again. You just want to hit them with that quick break, and that has been Kotoko's strength so far.
Now they seem to be getting themselves out of the woods. Set Kojo swinging and switching play. Finds Kote. Johnson, not the best of control by wins it back. Johnson turns one beautifully, and this time Jewu would want to go in for a long strike. But seems to be having an issue there. Asante Kotoko, one of the players there. I tell you what, might be Albert Amoah. Maybe difficult if Albert Amoah is off the pitch.
Yeah, that was even before the incident then. That was the reason why he didn't pick up that ball, from Johnson Owusu, because already he was feeling a bit of pain in his foot. Right after scoring the goal, it would be a big blow if Kotoko would lose him out.
A cooling break at the moment here at the Babayawa Stadium. Asante Kotoko lead 1 by 0-0, and Frimpong Mansu is also a legend of Asante Kotoko. Remember, he's played his role there for Asante Kotoko before. And this afternoon, he's switching play, and he's currently with ASANTE KOTOKO. Remember, he won the league there with the Gold Stars. Didn't really do well in terms of their play.
I think Ali Mohammed there, it wasn't actually for hard work on Friday in Bando. You're wondering how he managed to get himself here for this game. But like you rightly said, I think for Frimpong Manso there will be quite a lot of pressure on him, despite the fact that it's his first season with Nations FC. In his first season with the Gold Stars, it was a similar thing, trying to get it better of the team, augment the squad during the transfer window. And then he went on to win the league title in his first full season. Maybe perhaps he could replicate that with Nations FC. Nations FC themselves, coming close last season, but then missing out, after some, unfortunate incidents in the latter part of last season. But in this game, they've not been pretty bad. I think they should have taken the lead earlier on. That big chance falling, to Emmanuel Ano, who failed to, make good use of it after Nzole's strike had come off the upright. I mean, Kotoko would always have the edge, especially when they're playing at home. And we spoke about the fact that they've never scored a home goal in this fixture. And Albert Amwa breaking that jinx. Perhaps they'll be looking at, holding on to that lead and claiming victory.
Well, in a recent head-to-head record favors Nations FC. Since October 2023, they have won 3 of their 5 meetings between them and ASANTE KOTOKO, with 2 other matches and draws. And KOTOKO managed just 2 goals in those encounters compared to Nations FC. They had 7 goals scored against ASANTE KOTOKO. So Albert Amoy's goal here makes it 3 goals. ASANTE KOTOKO have scored against Nations as Peter Midwaka, switching play from left to right hand side, now begin to find space. And again, his effort there gives him a corner kick. 30 minutes already gone here at the Barbara Stadium. Half an hour gone, 1-0. It is there for the Porcupine Warriors against Nations.
And a great link-up play there by Albert Amwa. Does it so effortlessly, finding Peter Midwaka with the inside of his foot there. Just laser onto his path, and you could see what Peter Midwaka was also trying to do. Set Kojo lurking at the far end, and that skill, if executed, would have been a wonderful one. And to go with the outside of his boot, shred a pass.
Now they have a corner kick. Samba O'Neill obviously also in a take of offense there. And another ball swung in here, and Nations clears. Possession back to Sohini. And now they have to switch play down the right hand side, and Sohini racing, looking for a return of the ball. They gets it, and Asiedu comes in to bounce on him. The Nations quickly take this set piece. Obviously always looking for Emmanuel Boahen. Sohini, the Nations, back to Boahen. In the box waiting is Brandon Enkisapan as well, and this is the target for this cross. And cleverly cleared away by Hussein Zakaria. Gripman. And back again to Gripman. And he's trying to find a way to get the balls back into the part of Brandon, who's moved centrally in terms of attacking play.
Yeah, and that's what you're doing now. You just don't stick to your position there. Makes it so easy for the defense of Kotoko to deal with it. All these players are a bit mobile. And Brandon Enkisapan, one of the most threatening players for Nations FC now. Trying to pull 2 of these defenders out of position.
In terms of consistency, Desire Kotoko have been the more consistent side over the course of the season, with 10 wins, 9 draw and 6 defeat, 25 games played. Mention of them scoring 30 goals, now makes it 31 goal after Albert Amwa's header. So consistently they've been doing some of the work there. The club's only considered 16 goals. In terms of the teams in the Premier League, you look at what they've been able to do so far.
Yeah, by far they've been a better side as well. Comparing the whole season, on the review, comparing their numbers to that on Nations FC. They came into this game 5 points, better than Nations FC. And it tells you the kind of work they've done so far, and that comes into, and then also the interim head coach, Yao Prendo. Also, it's not really been the sort of season you expect Kotoko, to undergo, but that's the reality. When you have the standard of the league rising each and every season, sometimes you just need to put in a good shift if you want to come close to winning the title.
Before the game, the Asante Kotoko's newly appointed board chairman James Brown charged the players to secure victory in this game. Now they lead by a goal to nil. At least it appears they have something going, isn't it?
Yeah, they need it at this point. You'd say mathematically the league title is still within reach, but ask yourself realistically, what are their chances of winning it? But these are the kind of games you need to win. If you really want to keep the hopes, it's a slender one, it's a slim one, but you still want to keep it alive.
Andrew Sapong now finds Kwambuache. Switch play down the right. Again, another beautiful header here, but again it goes wide. Fimpo Mansu before the game did indicate that the side will give their all in this particular game. It's one of the games that you expect to see Nations FC firing from all cylinders, and here comes Hube Jehu, and he's trying to lead the attack and get the midfield going.
Yeah, history has really favoured Nations FC in this fixture. When you walk into a fixture with 3 wins and 2 draws, then certainly you'll be hoping that history will smile at you again.
Again, the partnership there with Henry Ansu probably is back from injury, and especially so when you're looking at having the likes of Zakaria coming in to replace Henry Ansu. He was one of the players who had a very great partnership with Samba Oneo until the injury and him being off for quite some time, and expectedly so. Chelsea's return gets a red card, and Sohini here looking for space. Brendan and Sapong looking to hit one, blocked by Samba Oneo. And here comes Albert Amwa. Somebody all alone there, nobody there to support him. Just late arriving, is looking for some bit of runs there, and Albert Amwa walks on the ball and finds Johnson. Back to Albert Amwa. He's trying to move on the right hand side is Kote. And Kotoko beginning to slow the tempo of the game.
It's all about the hold up play by Albert Amwa. Does it so well at this time. Very, very limited support since he got the ball, but that's the mark of a good attacker, a good striker, and that's what he's done. Despite scoring, he's still playing a pivotal role. That's so well to hang on and invite the players into the game. I think it's getting a bit more physical now for Nations FC, and just look at that. Patrick Asiedu sandwiched in between 2 players, and Zoli there and Mashoud Abdullah.
The only goalkeeper among the 2 who's just picked the ball in his net. Asante Kotoko now have the opportunity to see if they can double the lead here against Nations FC. A very busy afternoon there for Rabin Sanon. The referee trying to ensure that the teams gets it right. George Maoli Vomawa, the man who's currently in charge of the game, and Asiedu will want to go the left foot into the far post once again, just a wasted set piece.
I'm wondering if that was aim to be on target, if that was supposed to beat Robinson on. You had quite a couple of red-shirted players in the box waiting for a good delivery. If they could have gotten something on it. Watch out, Patrick Asiedu trying to go solo with that one.
Nations. And Johnson here wins the battle, but again not able to retain possession. Asante Kotoko gets it back. Now they have another set piece opportunity. And the referee is just reaching out to his pocket once again to have another player here, name taken is Sohini. And yellow card, 2 players on the yellow card here. Asante Kotoko's Kote is the first player to have his name taken.
That was a rough play there. Rough play by Sohini. And leaves it late on Kote. Well, sometimes you wonder how such decent players go into tackles like that. Talking about Suhini, very disciplined on the pitch.
Again, he got his name taken, and now probably slowing his game down. Amwa is looking to see if he can run and find some bit of support. So in moments where Asante Kotoko's fans expect to see a lot of goals in such games, but it's always tight when you're up against Nations FC. Yet to get the ball into the box, and yet it is Simpson who comes in, and the Asante Kotoko players are just requesting, they'll be asking the referee that that's a handball. And yet again, the referee did not really see much of that, and so it's going to be a corner kick.
Yeah, quite a controversial call there. Albert Amwa still protesting, thinking should have had a penalty kick there, but it was Johnson also with a whip into the box. Yeah, he does. Albert Amwa just coming in, but I just don't think that was enough in it. For a penalty kick, I don't think so. But it was a good delivery into the box, and you had Albert Amwa lurking right behind Zach Simpson, but I just don't see enough in it.
Corner kick taken to the far side. Goalkeeper is already out, and Asamba O'Neill puts one in, and again it's Rabin struggling to get the ball away. Seth Kojo returns. Simpson coming out, clattering his own player. And Asante Kotoko yet again have another. Sohini has already been booked. Should be careful. To get another yellow card. And the referee would want to have some bit of a wet there with him.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to send him off. I doubt the referee, Vomo being lenient to that occasion. Well, certainly if he had wanted to, that could have been another bookable offense. Could see him clearly not going in for the ball. Yeah, chips Emmanuel Kote. That's the point. You need to slow down a bit, in your tackle, Suhini. Just needs to be careful. They've really had their momentum drop, and having a man sent off, I believe, would be worse for them.
Just about 4 minutes to end the half, and you have Asante Kotoko having won. Yeah, I've seen a lot of a set piece advantage for them. Ball sent into the far side once again. Sambo O'Neill brings the ball back. Hamidu Akwa. Here Kesa Kute and losing possession. And still scoreline remains Asante Kotoko 1 Nations nil. Just about 4 minutes to end the first half with added time.
You have Nations FC starting the game, on the front foot, creating the best chances, and it's just shocking how after conceding that goal, it looks like everything seemed to have gone a bit south for them. Creating those chances, we saw them creating the opening exchanges anymore. It looks like Kotoko gradually are warming themselves up into it.
Hamidu Akwa released on the other side, and here he comes again. Hamidu Akwa in the box. Hamidu Akwa looking for space, and Simpson here. Referee says no, not a handball. The second time Asante Kotoko are calling for a handball against Simpson, and Razak Simpson soon to be the player in that bit of a cage there. Ano and Kote again also on a yellow card. Should be careful on his tackles. And the 2 players who have been booked have had to help the referee stopping play because of some of the tackles here.
Yeah, and that's the funny part of it. Earlier we saw Suhini on the yellow card, going in, for that reckless tackle, and this time it's Emmanuel Kote, the only player in that Kotoko shirt, also having been booked. But you talk about that handball, and I doubt the referee Vomo was going to just give it, because you had the first touch coming off the foot, of Simpson.
Yeah, there's very poor play there for Nations FC as the ball was whipped in. Buahane, here comes Boache. Whips one to the far side. It's between Buahane and Boache, the right back and left full back. And this time Dolly would have to come in here with a head up.
Yeah, we saw that delivery for Emmanuel Kote to set up Albert Amwa for the goal for Kotoko, and I think it was just top notch. Delightful cross for Amwa to get his head on it. And since then, we've not really seen that quality of a cross. This one to Inzole, not bad, but not the best of crosses for him to, just power the ball into the net.
Combinations. Once again, the good point. Good ball into the box, and Brandon was waiting to look onto any ball that comes his way, but again, it's a very good play from Nations FC. Now the Steelers trying to wrap themselves into the half. ASANTE KOTOKO have most of the players back into the defensive line. Zach Simpson here. No. Possession taken away from him. And Hubert couldn't get away from Entry Sapong. Again is Albert Amwa charging away. Albert Amwa has got Razak Simpson. Albert Amwa trying to square one. Again, a very poor play from Albert Amwa. And Hamid Walker was just raising deep, just hitting the ball behind Hamid Walker. Meantime, on the other side is Ano, also hitting it wide.
You wonder what he was thinking there, Emmanuel Ano. I doubt he was trying to score, from that angle a bit against him. But there was Sohini just racing, approaching that ball, but there was no way that would have found him. Over that earlier ball by Albert Amwa. You see the intentions, but Johnson a bit too fast. You have good players not on the same wavelength there. That boy eluded him.
Here comes Prince Bedu, also playing a role there in the midfield. Got 8 fouls for Kotoko and 9 to Nations. Just in terms of that similar approach.
There, yeah, by both teams. You don't take it that it's a rivalry. It's a derby, and it's so common in derbies. Even though you think this one is a bit friendly.
A very dangerous tackle there on the goalkeeper, and again Aziz Adari nearly put himself in a very, very, very poor situation.
He was saved by the whistle.
He was, absolutely he was.
A bit reckless there from Dari Aziz. You have Emmanuel just trying to go in hard, trying to win that ball at all costs. Yeah, but it was a clear dribble by the goalkeeper.
Ball-playing goalkeeper, isn't it?
Right, these days there's a trend, Graham. You have every top manager, demanding that for their goalkeepers, and even though you have most of these goalkeepers not really feeling comfortable about it, you need to add it to your game. It's a trend these days. You just don't go ballooning the ball all the time, and we've seen a couple of times from some of these goalkeepers. But I think he managed to pull the trick. Unfortunately, that tackle from Emmanuel just sent him down.
And again, he's up for Brandon Echisapong, getting some bit of a work there with the coach, Frimpong Mansoon. And you have those enjoying the game here, are they not? Because ASANTE KOTOKO was leading by a goal to nil for Swag in here. Zach Simpson, Cook Gripman. Nations going to control the game. Such Evan Safo going to find Sapong. Again, does well to win that possession. Simpson shucks the ball to the left hand side, looking for the run there over Wachi. He's able to bring the ball down and a throw-in advantage. The block there from Zakaria.
Pushing for that final chance right before the halftime whistle.
Hugo Joe just been dragged by, and a very poor play. And the head coach of ASANTE KOTOKO.
Come on, what's he doing on the pitch?
I certainly I don't even know.
What's he doing on the pitch? And it's quite shocking though, but he needs to be careful now. He could be sent off for that.
Already, ASANTE KOTOKO do have the goalkeeper being punished there. The rules of the Ghana Football Association, and I'm not too sure what the plan was there, but the end of the first half being a bit traumatic there with ASANTE KOTOKO's coach Prince Owusu just charging onto the field. I'm not too sure again what he was doing over there, but the story remains ASANTE KOTOKO lead by goal to nil. Albert Amwa's goal there with a textbook header with a beautiful cross there from Kote. Means ASANTE Kotoko head to the tunnel there and coming back in the second half. At least they lead by a goal to nil at half time.
All right, welcome back into the studios of Max TV. First 45 minutes done and dusted at the Baba Yara Stadium with Albert Amos goal separating the two sides at the end of the first 45. Good game so far. We've seen some levels of opportunities, chances being created here and there. Finishing has not been the best, but at least the two teams have dared their might against each other, and that makes it a lot more interesting. And the results so far tilted in the favor of the Porcupine Warriors. Back in the studios, we've got Coach Yao Preko here with us, and Coach Eben is also here. Gentlemen, first 45 minutes, Eben, the technicalities involved in the game, first 45 minutes, who would you say has benefited, regardless of the scoreline?
No, of course, you cannot do without the scoreline. And I think that Kotoko has benefited. They are going the low block, but Nation is going the long balls. You remember I told you earlier on that Razak Simpson will always want to find Anon or Brandon Sapon, which he has done throughout the first 45 minutes. Kotoko have noticed it, though Nations have been able to break through on a few occasions. But I think that Emmanuel Anon has not been purposeful up front. Apart from Anon, none of the front runners of Nations has been able to. Brandon Asante has been off. I think Emmanuel Kote has done very well on him. And Samba O'Neill is also trying as much as possible to cover Patrick Asiedu anytime he goes, so that Anon will not use his space. And of course, Emmanuel Boahi has also been supporting Anon. So I think that Razak Simpson and Oko has been free. But anytime the ball goes to them and then Albert Amwa tries to put pressure on them, Simpson will be struggling, Oko will be struggling. Because Oko played alongside Albert at Olympics, so he knows him very well. And I was happy to see Kote's cross into the penalty area for Albert to score. He did same for him against Basaka Holy Stars. That one he went with the bicycle kick. But I think the technique that Kote used, there was a spin on the ball, so it deceived Oko. And of course, there wasn't communication between him and his goalkeeper. So Albert had to get the ball. And apart from that, Kotoko has been able to enter the penalty area on 2-3 occasions from Peter Amidu Akwada. I said that if he's on a very good day, then Kotoko are going to rely on him. Johnson Opon is not working very well on the right, but I think he's tackling very well in the middle. So it has been also Gramsci for Suleimana. You talk of Nzoli, and of course Ivan Safu in Milford for Nations FC. But Nations is picking the second balls within their area, but they won't try to commit Kotoko, but they'd like to go to the long balls, and it is helping Kotoko.
Well, it's not done and dusted yet. We still have the second 45 minutes to come. But Coach Yapreko, what has been the problem for Nations? I see them getting players move into positions where they can take advantage. They have not utilized the chances to the best of their ability as and when they have them. Let's try and read Frimpong Manso's.
I think tactically, the plan was to find Ano behind Kotoko backline.
Okay.
But Kotoko are not doing the high pressing. When you do the high pressing, that means there will be spaces behind. Yes, behind. But they are doing the low block. And so far tactically Kotoko they've had it right.
Sure.
And they do the low block, they win the ball, and then they find Amwa. You get me? So what I'm expecting from Nation is to have a plan B. The plan A, we can all see they want to find the Kotoko backline. But now the plan B is to move the ball faster. Either it should go to the wings and then cross in, cut back, or put pressure on the Kotoko defense. And then make sure that when you start putting pressure, because you got nothing to lose, now you are losing, you put pressure on them, and then the attacking balance, that means the back four should be in the position of the two center back, and the holding midfielders should be in the position when they lose the ball, they can win it back.
Exactly.
In case they go for the counter.
Okay, let's head back to the Baba Yara Stadium. The two technical benches are ready to also share their thoughts on the first 45 minutes. Let's listen to what the assistant coaches have to say.
Goals. I've been joined by the assistant coach of Asante Kotoko, Hamza Obin. Hamza, first 45 minutes, you're leading by a goal to nil. How would you describe the first 45-minute performance that you've seen?
Well, I think it's a very fantastic play on our side. Looking at the chances that we've created a lot of chances whereby we try to, find the spaces behind their backline, and which is working for us. One thing I'm expecting that we should add up another goal using the spaces breaking from their backline, whereby mostly whenever we are attacking, you see that most their centre backs push their team forward, and mostly they are in the halfway. So whenever we try to break their back line, we try to get that opportunity. And I wish inside the second half we talk to our attackers so that they can use that spaces behind them and give us another goal.
And we are leaving you to go to the dressing room and do that. Hamza Obin is the assistant coach of Asante Kotoko. I'll be joined by Boaje Da Costa, the assistant coach of Nations as well. His side is down by a goal to nil. Coach, you started the better of the two sides, created chances, then you hit the woodwork with Ano having the goal at his mercy, and he missed. Do you think that miss actually came back to bite you?
Yeah, actually, some of the boys, they are not up to the standard. When this occurred, then they are down. In the first half, first 15 minutes, you see some mistakes, which Kotoko should have punished us.
Yeah, now you're still firmly in the game. It's just one goal. What needs to change for you in the second half?
We need to change some things in the game, because it seems there's a bit of complacency in the boys.
Okay,
a bit of complacency. So if they up their game, we will equalize.
Well, let's see if that will change in the second half. Boaje Da Costa.
All right, so ably put by both coaches, they all have the realization of what to do to get into the game and what not to do or what to prevent, as it were. It's still young, it's still a balanced game, although Kumasi Asante Kotoko are leading by one. Of course, Nations also created the chances. They could have scored even before Kumasi Asante Kotoko did. So which means that the second half will still throw a lot more light into the creativity on the field of play and how they can utilize their chances. Kotoko utilized an opportunity that came their way across from the right from Kote, met the head of Albert, and he banged the ball into the net. Would you say that the opportunity fell to him due to the loose marking by Nations FC? There we see the goal we're talking about. The cross came from the right. Kote did very well, latched onto it and delivered an inch-perfect cross. I'm not too sure what Oko Gripman was doing, allowing the defender, the striker, to jump above him.
Yeah, you see, Albert went up first before Oko.
Okay.
And I think that it is awareness. And it is clear that Oko wasn't aware that Albert was behind him. And that is
the role that he's playing as a central defender.
So it is a poor on the part of Oko. Because anytime the ball comes from the flanks, you should expect somebody.
Sure.
Because without that, the ball will not come. And I think that this is something Kotoko has been doing at training. Because he has sent the same ball to Albert to score in a different game, and you could clearly see what is. Albert is very good in the air.
So the spin of the
yes.
ball.
And you saw how he went in, tried to pull his elbow behind Oko Gripman, forcing him not to jump again. And for me, I think that is the mark of a good striker. Perfect goal from Albert Amwa.
So obviously, one of the few things we should be looking out for. But I think Oko has also paired well with Razak.
I mean, because there's no much pressure on them, as you have said, Kotoko is going the low block, Deshi is going the long balls behind the back line. So every time Kotoko sends for it, they try to use Peter sometimes as a decoy. So that when Albert gets the ball, Razak Simpson is struggling with Albert Amwa. 1v1, he's struggling with him.
Okay.
So it makes Oko free. So if I were to be Frimpong Manso, I'll put Oko on Albert Amwa. He knows him, they know each other very well. Put him on him so that Razak can pick the loose balls behind him, so he will be comfortable. Other than that, Albert may worry them again.
All right, and heading towards the halftime or indeed at halftime, we saw Coach Prince also going onto the field of play.
That's the pressure. That's the pressure of being a Kotoko coach.
Okay. I think it was the end of the first half when the referee whistled for the end of the first half.
I think he wasn't happy with the decision there from the referee before.
It seemed as if he had a little bit of a problem somewhere.
You know, he was.
You know.
Yes, but you see,
at the time the referee's whistle went for halftime,
Emmanuel Koke had a yellow card by pulling the shirt of a nation's player. So he was expecting the referee to show the nation's player the yellow card because he also pulled Hubert Jehu from the back. Let's watch it. You see. So he was expecting,
So he said yes.
You see,
he was calling for the yellow.
Yeah. So you're expecting the referee to issue a card, but you don't tell the referee what to do. You don't tell the referee what to do.
So here he realized his mistake. That because here the referee can even sack you off. Look at here he can sack you.
You remember what happened to Atram in the FA Cup?
Similar incident anyway.
For me,
but it was halftime, and the referee obviously thought that a yellow card should have been showed for that incident. He had no problems. He had no calls.
But I'm surprised to see him because so far, watching the 45 minutes, I think they've handled Nation very well.
Sure. I think so too.
Yeah, they've handled them. But what
is that
at this stage of the game?
This is a yellow card.
Yes, at this stage of the game, some minutes before halftime, you should think about what you are going to tell the boys in the dressing room.
I want us to take a look at the results from the other centers. But before we do that, can we have a quick replay of this? Because it looks like at the time the shirt was pulled, the referee had blown the whistle. You see? Let's take a look at it. The game was still in action. This is what the referee blew the whistle.
Yes. It's true. It's true.
So, well, it's still 1-0 to the advantage of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Let's visit the other centers quickly and check the half-time results before we come back for the second 45 minutes. And some interesting results we have. Kotoko leading by 1 against Nations. Dreams are leading by 1 against Mediama Sports Club, and which makes it very bit tedious for that game. Yes. Baseke Holy Stars are leading 1-0 against Young Apostles. There's no goal to report from the Dance Park. Berekum Chelsea 2-0 advantage over Karela United, and then at Swedridge All Blacks also leading by 1-0. There's also a stalemate at the Nana Fosu Giaboa Park in Bechem, as Bechem United and Adriana are drawing goalless in the Bronx Derby. Now, these results obviously will have a telling effect at the end of 90 minutes. So let's pay particular attention to the results now, and I'm sure that at the end of 90 minutes, we will revisit the scoreboard from all the centers, and then we will have an updated version of the Ghana Premier League table. But as it stands now, Dreams FC are leading the league leaders by 1-0. Maybe a good result for Baseke Holy Stars should it remain this way, because that encounter is a very tough one. Baseke Holy Stars against Young Apostles there. As we told you earlier on, the Dons Park has not produced any goal. Goldfields are in contention. They're looking for the Premier League title, don't forget. And so we'll keep tabs on those venues, and in finality, we'll be telling you who's won, who's lost, and which of the matches have ended in a draw. But we are getting ready to head back to the Baba Yara Stadium, where the teams will be coming back on the field any moment from now to bring us the second 45 minutes of the game. And so let's sit back, relax, and enjoy the second 45 minutes. But again, of the two benches, who is under pressure?
I must say that Kotoko, Coach Prince is under pressure.
He's under
performance
pressure.
is relaxed. And this is the first time Kotoko is putting the ball at the back of the net of Nations FC in the league. So obviously Coach Prince will be under pressure.
Exactly.
They are still in the game. All they have to do is this: just stay in the game. Don't do anything stupid. Don't allow Kotoko to put too much pressure on you.
Okay.
And just stay in the game, and then take your chances, because for sure this second half they might push better than they did in the first half. Because now you know how Kotoko want to play. They want to play low block, and then make sure that they go counter on.
I think you also have to think that probably Kotoko is doing that the way Nations is playing, and it's possible if performance to change, Kotoko can also change, because they realize that Razak Simpson has been sending the long balls. Exactly. So why don't we sit and then make sure that we take it, and then we also have a target man.
Yeah, that's what that's why I'm saying. I said they should just stay in the game, and then let's see how it goes.
All right, let's get back to the stadium. The teams are ready for the second 45. We'll join you again at full time.
FC, of course, Imano Kote and Sohini of Nations FC. Two players booked, and now second half. And it's going to be Nations FC setting the tone for us to see exactly how the response will be. They have had one of the most exciting first half, at least had the sad post coming to the rescue. Asante Kotoko took charge of the game and had to find a way to get the goals there. But it's yet another grueling second half awaiting us at the Baba Yara Stadium, and Nations FC, who definitely are looking to change things.
It will certainly be a cagey one in the first half. We saw quite a number of chances being created. But you had both teams just fluffing it until Albert Amwa, headed Kotoko into the lead. And I expect Nations FC to come at them in the second half. They created some good chances in the first half. Unfortunately, Manuel Auno just couldn't bury any of the chances they created. And you're thinking that certainly they'll give ASANTE KOTOKO a run for their money.
And the goalkeeper was just deputizing there for Mohamed Kamara. Dari Haruna. The only time he was actually threatening was the strike from Ndoli, just graced the side post. And here comes Brandon into Sapong. In time, ASANTE KOTOKO want to have that possession. Dari hit the ball back in again, trying to get the attackers. And Gripman with a header here. Itamidu Akwa. It's been a little bit conspicuously missing, and again, here comes Sohini. He's trying to be the man, protecting and holding up the ball here. Sohini again finds himself in a very good position, and is able to locate his players with some exciting passes. Look at Gripman. No. ASANTE KOTOKO. We want to see exactly how Nations want to respond. Dolly on the right hand side, looking for another ball. Goalkeeper already committed. It's a handball in terms of the control.
I think it is trying to bring that one down. Almost hitting it on the half volley. And that was Mashoud Abdullah. But I was Brian with a cross into the box. Yeah, it was a decent one. A lovely one. Again, being dealt with. By Zakaria. And just look at that. Oh, I just don't think it was. But a no protest as well from Abdullah Mashoud. But that doesn't come off the arm.
Sometimes they started the game, the first half, they had the opportunity of keeping the ball neat and simple around themselves. Nations FC really have a win in away matches this season in the league. After 12 outings away this season, Nations FC accumulated only 5 points on the road, scoring 6 and conceding 15 away from home. Itamidu Akwa for Kotoko. Finds Hubert Jehu. Back to Amidu Akwa. Back to Hubert Jehu again. And Albert Amwa should have let the ball there for Johnson, but he had to control the ball. already in an offside position.
I think Flag had already gone up. Amwa just failing to make the run. He's trying to stay onside. No, that ball wasn't meant for him.
On the other side is going to be Arnaud dropping the ball back again. Nations FC once again not really going to have a siesta at all. They just want to make sure that they pass some of the pressure on ASANTE KOTOKO. Here comes Hickman and finds space in midfield. Boss switching to the left hand side looking for Kambuache. Another ball into the box now. Arnaud looking to head the ball down. Trying to advertise push there to the referee.
I don't think there was enough in it, but he did that so well, to leap highest to get that one. He was in between Samba and then also Patrick Asido. Just look at that. He headset onto the turf. That's well there. And I don't think there was any contact there. No one impeded him. Those are the kind of deliveries he would always want to feed off. He's not really had a handful of that. It's barring that big chance that fell to him in the first half. I think the defense of Kotoko have really done a good job at keeping him at the bay.
Zakaria, the final touch of the ball, so definitely losing possession. So trying to come in here to see exactly what the plan will be there for Nations FC in the game. Zach Simpson. Kotoko was at the time trying to find out for Advertisements this time. He just have to find Johnson. Again, he's trying to cutting the runs of Set Kojo. Sohini again, and Johnson coming back to Kote.
He's been quite productive in this game, Johnson. Playing off the shoulders of the defenders, a bit wide sometimes, cutting in from the left hand side onto the right foot, just like he did, and nearly treading one onto the path of Set Kojo. He just needs to be a bit more sharp. That's where he's lacking now. His runs has been excellent.
Here comes Kambuache for Nations FC, trying to get his men into very good position, and the flag is eventually up here. All in terms of places and the number of points away picked up by Nations FC. And we have Nations trying to make sure that they get themselves a really yards offside. Kambuache. Again, after securing the MTN FA Cup semi-final bet, coach before Mansour is trying to make sure he gets things right there. Abetamo here, the best of control on the chest. Nations haven't lost to Kotoko in their last 5 matches, 3 wins for them, and so they might be looking to seeing how this game will pan out. To sure they want to lower their guard over their seamless performance against ASANTE KOTOKO. Here comes Arnaud. Brandon and Chisapon trying to cut one to Arnaud. A little bit of a push down Emmanuel Kote. Arnaud.
It was a good one too. The Emmanuel Arnaud and Brandon Chisapon who had drifted a bit more central, but I wasn't expecting Chisapon to hit that one onto the path of Arnaud, especially without grip there. Definitely you knew Kote was going to get an end of it. Just look at that. It was a bit late, a bit overhit for me. A tussle on the ground there, ongoing.
Lovely against Safo. And to the rescue by Zakaria. And here comes ASANTE KOTOKO. Amidu Wakwa finds space looking for his man Advertisements. Meantime, Kotoko do have Seju. So what to retain possession for the Porcupine Warriors. Trying to ping the balls very fast. This comes Johnson. And the best of pass there for Peru. And here comes Zakaria, and definitely going to be a yellow card offense.
Now the worst thing is that they keep playing themselves into trouble, ASANTE KOTOKO. No, these are chances. You should be advancing the ball instead of losing it in that dangerous area. That's Prince Bedu, losing that ball, and certainly Manuel Ano will punish you. He's got a pace, he's got everything there. He's a good dribbler as well, despite the fact that he plays as a number 9 for them. Whenever he drops deeper, you expect him to carry the ball very well, and at that point there was no other option for Zakaria Fuseni than to foul him.
And no, once again, he's trying to wriggle his way away, and Asante Kotoko do have a player down. An extension of the arm there against Kotoko's right full back. Emmanuel Kote right in pain there, trying to signal to the referee that well, Swete just in there. So this foul
on Prince Bedu, rather, yeah.
Prince Bedu, yeah.
And it was Brandon Noenchi again. Does he extend the arm? He does, but I don't think it catches him on the face. As opposed to the reaction on the turf for me, I just think he's been a bit overly dramatic there.
You talk about Arno here, and he's in a scoring form of his own. 9 goals for Nations FC this season, scoring 2 goals away this season in the Premier League with Faiza Chawete and Joseph Ifa, all in 2 goals each, and confirmation of the yellow card there to Zakaria.
And now they've got Emmanuel Kote, the right back, and then also one of the centre backs on yellow cards, and that's where you always need to be careful, though. You have Nations FC also with one of the most explosive attackers, in Emmanuel Ano. You're wondering how they could really make good use of the disadvantage to Kotoko. You have Zakaria and then also Kote on yellow cards.
Ano Amiru Akwa didn't give it a chance, but this thing couldn't pick the ball here. The Nations have scored 7 goals and have only conceded 3 to Kotoko in the last 5 meetings. And they've kept 9 clean sheets in the Premier League this season, Nations FC. Possession here to the visitors. Banahene Okwahin finds his ball into the box, and a little bit of a push there. And Asante Kotoko's Samba Oneo. And Samba Oneo, I'll tell you what, is the top scorer this season with 5 goals in the league for Asante Kotoko.
Well, that's a foul again. He's so focused, has his eyes on the ball. I think he catches a trailing leg, yeah. He does, Emmanuel Ano. Of course, Samba just heads that one clear. The trailing leg just making contact with, the foot of Emmanuel Ano. You talk about the fact that he's been their best player this season. Yeah, it is arguable, Graham, but you take nothing away from Samba O'Neill, top scorer this season, the most important player in defense for them, and sometimes even playing as a holding midfielder. And regardless where you fix him on the pitch, he gets the job done 101%, and that's why it would really be a huge loss if Kotoko should lose him this season or next season.
But Nations always trying to come in here to see exactly what they can. Soini has had the opportunity of coming up to do something. Miruagwa always trying to control things. Hubert Joe. Oh, lovely pass now to Sepo Joe. Kotoko now trying to be a little bit busy in midfield. Possession to Patrick Asieru. Samba O'Neill back to Jeu. It's all about how Kotoko want to keep things and want to move, and flag is up here against Amwa. Again, how they ping the ball and how they try to play some intricate weaving patterns. Asante Kotoko nearly found a very good opportunity for a second here, but the flag had already gone up.
And he wasn't going to miss if that flag hadn't gone up. Certainly about half a yard offside there. Albert Amwa again lurking and trying to find the open spaces, which he does brilliantly, but I think the flag goes up. He fails to stay onside, and they just need to keep a sharp eye on him. He could punch you at any point.
Brandon Ejisapong. And again, it's Nations FC who are at the moment holding on to possession, looking for that huge space behind the back line and that is what Asante Kotoko not able to do that. And here they come again with possession. Nations, Abdullah Mashoud. And now you're going to have Nations looking for an opening. And the best of deliveries there by Emmanuel Guahin. Johnson here trying to catch Mashoud with a bit of peace, and he's got a lot of fans urging him on. Mashoud trying to come in. And Johnson, I'm not too sure if he's looking for a corner kick.
It wasn't so clear what he was looking for. Had a strength, to just fend off that challenge for a while for Abdullah Mashoud, but again, not decisive enough when it mattered most.
And again, you still have opportunities to see what exactly is going to happen in the game here. But Asante Kotoko only once at home this season. They've lost only once at home, and again, you see the runs of Arnaud.
A bit side there, very, very close. I think he was coming from an onside position there. Emmanuel Arnaud.
Again, you still have the players who are warming themselves up, and so only once Asante Kotoko this season have lost at home, winning 6 and drawing 5 in the games in 12 home matches played so far. They've been able to score 21 goals and concede just 7 at home. They've not really been too impressive in the last 5 meetings, winning just 1 with 3 defeats and a draw, and that's had to do with the change of the technical setup there with coach Zito leaving and a new coach coming in and trying to redo most of the things, or perhaps bringing a new tactical eye into how Kotoko plays. But it's a Sunday, and the Nations obviously got some beautiful friends and fans to watch the game.
Yeah, certainly. That's 40 minutes drive away from Kumasi, so certainly they would like to come in their numbers. And for a side that's on a pretty much impressive run, you'd always expect the team or the fans to rally behind them. It's always been good for them whenever they've come up against Kotoko. Again, Kote, that's Prince Bedu, using his arm illegally there.
I tell you what, the defeat there to Karela was one of the disappointing displays there by Asante Kotoko when the fans were looking to see how best they can charge forward. And again, that wasn't what they wanted to do. Set Kojo here. Ibejo. Possession play to the right. Asante Kotoko back with possession. Still trying to get the players in. Asiedu, Patrick. And again, being dragged from behind there. Asante Kotoko, a lot of players looking to move, and Nations once again winning back possession in midfield. Kotoko really scrambling to maintain momentum. Samba Oneo and Zakaria, they've been pretty much quiet in the defensive area. Asante Kotoko once again gives the ball away, and it's been very, very disappointing for Kotoko when they have possession. They are not able to locate the forwards and just gets the ball away to the position. And once again, piling some of the pressure on them.
Yeah, it's not being the sort of attacking display you'd want to see from Kumasi Asante Kotoko. They started the game on the back foot until that goal from Albert Amwad, and everything changed for them. They had the momentum on their side. Then the second half, it's not really been pretty decent up front. Struggle sometimes to string the passes together when transition hasn't been as sharp as it was towards the end of the first half.
Johnson. Again, a crowded ball into the box there. Amidu Alkan, Albert Samoa unable to get to the ball, and he apologized immediately. In time, it's going to be another run here. And just been telling you about Asante Kotoko when they do have to defend the lines and have to come in and clutch in on players. And the referee really been a bit lenient there, not to have shown a card there, but there's going to be a change by Asante Kotoko with the introduction or the exit of Seth Kojo. And here comes Babayaya, the playmaker. And Adam Inusa is also going to get the opportunity to come in, and Johnson is also going to go out.
And these are key substitutions now. You have said Kojo not really playing a huge part in this game. He's really been to some extent a spectator throughout the game. We've not really seen how good he is. And for Johnson Opong, he's been busy down the line, making runs into the channel. And but having Inusa who can play on either side of the flanks, and then also Babaya, a playmaker. You're talking about the problems of not really being so good up front. Then with these two changes, certainly a lot could happen. A lot could change up front for them.
Stretching from last season, Asante Kotoko have only lost twice in the last 21 home matches. Yeah, it tells you how strong they have been at home since last season. Again, it hasn't really been a performance the season has brought to them. Last time Asante Kotoko lost this season, really, it was an interesting game against Hartlepool. Lost by a goal to nil. Here comes Adam Inusa. He's got a very sweet left foot, Adam Inusa. Here comes Babaya, two entrants now trying to combine here. What an interesting bit about Asante Kotoko this season really has to do with the fact that they have not won any of their last 3 home matches. Competition lost to Hartlepool and a draw with Vision and the Giana FC in the MTN FA Cup. On penalties they lost, and only keeping 15 clean sheets in the season. We did the Hartlepool game yesterday, where Hartlepool have had 20 clean sheets, with 12 of those being a change here for Nations FC as well. Sohini is out for Ayite Ayikwe.
I think one of the biggest problems this season has been the home dominance, where despite the fact that they've lost just twice here at home, once in the FA Cup against Giana, the other in the league, against Hartlepool.
Good chance now, and again it has been collected beautifully by goalkeeper Aziz Dari Haruna. Yeah, I was talking about a clean sheet, a 12th clean sheet there for Benjamin Asari. A 20 clean sheet for Hartlepool.
I think that's the most in the division, though. No team best that. No team has that quality in defense. That defensive organization by Hartlepool.
Kotoko now have to defend the lines, and quickly Samba O'Neill will have to pick it up for the Porcupine Warriors, and clearly had to get the ball away. Hasn't been that solid at the back. Asante Kotoko. The Nations have been in control, total control this time. Buahi finds Simpson. Well collected by Asante Kotoko. Again, a long ball forward, looking to pick up the run of Albert Amwa. He's able to pick the ball here. He does so, and cleverly wins possession there for Asante Kotoko. Nobody there centrally to pick the ball here, and he has to lose it out.
Just not the best of passes there. Does well to hang on, does well to win that ball. But in the game, that pass to tee up his opponent a bit. He had too much power in it, you should ask me. And it's all about being coherent and consistent up front. That's one thing Kotoko has failed to do. That moment of brilliance, where the goal came, just had 2 players combining effectively for that goal. It was a moment of quality, and since then we've not really seen anything like that.
Amiduaka wins a free kick there for Asante Kotoko, and it still has to do with how the Porcupine Warriors are able to take advantage. The set pieces, really, they have not been able to do a lot with it. And Peter Amiduaka was the man who was brought down. Asante Kotoko's Mohamed Kamara, who's not part of this game, has accumulated a total of 12 clean sheets, same as Benjamin Asari of Accra Hartlepool. And now set piece here for Asante Kotoko. Ball whipped into the far post there. And it's been repelled at Kote here for Asante Kotoko. Back with possession. Again, he's got to deal with it. Meanwhile, has got 3 players on him and he has to leave possession to Buahin. And Asante Kotoko again would have to commit yet another foul to stop Buahin from just moving forward with the ball. Nations FC once again trying to rebuild from the back. Arnaud finds Buahin on the right, swings the ball in. Goalkeeper has already committed. Samba there comes out with a clearance. Not the best though, but Nations FC looking to hit one. And Kwambuache gives the ball away. And Dolly here strikes and picks up by goalkeeper Adari Aziz Haruna.
And not a bad effort from Nzoli from a distance. Yeah, they're not right at the edge of the penalty box. Just calling for that one. No one marking him. He had enough space to whip that one in. Just look at that. Centrally a bit. And Nzoli, I don't think that was the best option he should have gone for. Yeah, it was a good hit. Took a touch off the Kotoko player. And again, that's not beating Aziz Dari.
And again, another card is going to be out here. Asante Kotoko and Oko Gripman. The centre back has been booked. I tell you what, Asante Kotoko centre back is the carry on a yellow card and Oko Gripman here. And that's the incident which led to the card. And that is a. That's very cynical there from Oko Gripman.
It's naughty, and I was thinking he could have been sent off. Looking at the reaction there, it was a bit, off the ball there. That was totally needless. That was just a bit, excuse my language, stupid there. By Gripman. Shouldn't be doing that. It's so unsportsmanlike. From a player of his caliber with all his experience, he shouldn't be doing that. Should really count himself fortunate to stay on the pitch, and that's what you're thinking. What would have the VAR done? What would have VR said about this? And he was a bit lucky, Graham. I think he was a bit lucky. There's a career-threatening, tackle there or whatever it was.
When you do have fouls in very naughty areas of the human body, obviously, you know that sometimes it takes a lot from the referees or match officials to then go back and look at the intention or the intent of the player. Was it deliberate, or it was a case of an unintentional foul sometimes, but it's not looking good there. But lucky to have a yellow card.
Yeah, he was. I think he knew what he was doing. He knew rightly what he was trying to do.
And this time he's been well collected by the goalkeeper, Usman Sanon. Another ball forward here. There's obviously going to be another situation for Ayikwe to pick it up. The players looking forward to get something out of the game with 18 minutes of the clock left there for Asante Kotoko to hold on to the very first win against Nations. Cooling break here, but so far 18 minutes to go. What's been your intention or perhaps your observation of Asante Kotoko and Nations FC, where the Porcupine Warriors have failed to beat Nations FC in the last 5 meetings? It appears that they may have the opportunity, but they've got about 18 minutes or more to hold on to the slender lead.
Yeah, certainly. Kotoko in this game, especially at home, they've not really fared well. In their last 2 games in this particular fixture, they've lost both and they are yet to score at home. So that goal from Albert was certainly, could give them a lot of boost. But just look at that again, very nasty and naughty there by Gripman, who was still on the pitch, which is quite surprising to know. But I think Kotoko themselves, they've struggled to find grip in the attacking third. They've really struggled, with all those line-breaking passes not really going through. I think that moment of brilliance, that moment of quality was the moment in the first half where Kote sent in that lovely delivery for Albert Amwa to just not home the first goal. And you question also the position of Rabin Sanon at that point. But I think since then it's been even though Kotoko find themselves in the lead. I think Nations FC themselves have built up pretty decently heading into the attacking third. But again, you're waiting, or you always look up to that moment of brilliance where one quality ball, one quality finish, and then you have the equalizer. I think that goal for Kotoko will be huge for them. First goal ever at home in this fixture would mean a lot, and if they can hang on until full time, I think that would allow them to go past Hartlepool. But just look at that again. Rabin, he had committed already in no man's land. It's just two things. It's either you're coming out to have a save or just a swipe at it, or you're not at all. And just look at that. Your positioning always will let you down, and at that point I think Rabin Sanon would be at fault for that one. But you take nothing away from the combination Emmanuel Kote and then also Albert Amoa combining for that sweet goal.
We're back to start the game here, and one of the things that really happened, and it's been working for Asante Kotoko this season. They've had 4 penalties this season. Asante Kotoko third best in the league with Samba Oneo and Morphin Donsu converting all in the league. And I tell you what, Josiah, interim coach Prince Owusu is now still searching for his very first win at home after 3 outings.
Yeah, and you always think, that there's still pressure on his shoulders. There's so much weight on his shoulders, even though he's an interim coach. But you just don't go 3 games without picking up the home win for Kotoko. That's just not good enough. And that's why you'd be thinking they would have to put everything. They would have to double their efforts for the remainder of this game if they would want to pick up their very first win.
O'Neill. A little bit of a notch there by advantage given. Amid Walker turns beautifully. And Albert Amo once again and a grip man on each other. Although there's just been one game between the two sides that they played goalless, between Kotoko and Nations FC. Taken into the box once again. It's Goodman having the best of Goodman. In comes Babayaya. Ow! And good save there from the goalkeeper, Sanon. Nobody hitting the ball there, Brandon. Andrew Sapong also finds space. It's Sanon. And still Asante Kotoko leading by a goal to nil against Nations FC. Kotoko back with possession. Inusa Ada on the left foot now. Trying to go around his man. Inusa Ada once again is charging forward. And Amwa just waiting centrally for a pass now. Swears one and finds Hubert Jehu. And Jehu finds Albert Amwa. Here comes Amidu Akwa. Just looking for some bit of a run there. And passing. Hubert Jehu's got some bit of good balls. And Asiedu goes to ground. And the referee have another back.
The penalty appeals already ongoing, but that was a good ball. It was just threaded through, and now you have Patrick Asiedu making the overlapping run and to get at the end of it. And he knows that there was contact, but it was a bit minimal. I don't think there was so much for referee Vomo to have awarded a penalty. But again, that was a lovely ball from Jehu, and just look at the run of Asiedu. A bit from deep there, just tracks that one through. Boyne does well to get in front, but I don't think he trips him, which is a clean challenge.
And again, when it comes to the call there for a penalty, I just mentioned to you that Asante Kotoko really have had 4 penalties and all converted by Samba Oneo in the Premier League this season, and Morphin Donsu. And so it's been that Kwambuachi now for Nations on the left hand side and looking to put one into the box, looking for Ayukwe. Zach Simpson. Here comes Ano. And down Asante Kotoko without to defend this one there from Abdullah Mashoud. Dragging the ball to the right and squares one to Buahin. Nations still looking for that opening there defensively. Allowing Kotoko to crack in. Mashoud's ball into the box once again. And Ayukwe here controls beautifully Kwambuachi. And trying to hit one, looking for a handball call, but Ayukwe will help. And goalkeeper just not able to hold it for the first time, comes back with it again. Ayukwe, the substitute, pretty much busy in the 12-yard box there for Asante Kotoko.
Yeah, they're getting close. A couple of touches in the Kotoko penalty area. That's just good sign of how potent they've been in attack. But again, that ball coming off the arm, the Kotoko player, and no cause at all. It was a good hit from Ayikwe, but again, Dari just making himself so big to deal with that one.
Joe Dings round to Peter Midwakwa. Beautiful control, but a very, very poor final execution. That should have been the second goal for Kotoko.
I think that should have been the icing on the cake. That should have been the cushion, for them. There was no way he should be missing that. Again, the combination. Look at Jew's pass over the top of Razak Simpson. Lovely chest control there. Again, finishing or going wrong for Amid Wakwa. And I think as a player, that's been his bane, for some time now. That's so well to get into certain key areas, but finishing always problematic for Peter Amid Wakwa. And that's one of the chances I'd see. You talk about big chances in the game, Graham. It was a big chance. Should have buried. Just had a goalkeeper at his mercy. You have options. You could just go low. You could just pick your spot, but that finishing, trying to finesse that one into the right top corner, just letting him down.
I tell you what, that should have been it. That should have been it for Peter Amiduaka. He's done almost everything right perfectly, but execution just letting him down, and should have been a worrying situation there for Pimpon Manson. With 10 minutes to go, there's a lot to play for in this game there for Nations FC. They need to get the equalizing goal. They have maintained your 100% record there with Kotoko in terms of not losing to the Porcupine Warriors, and all of that matches played. And Prince was just waiting for his very, very first win at home as an interim coach for Kumasi Asante Kotoko.
At this point, waiting becomes so difficult. 10 minutes of play plus added on time feels like more than days for you.
Once again, it's a Kwambuachi here for Nations. Kwambuachi looking for Jolly. And here comes Brandon Entrisapon. Kwambuachi calling for the boy. Gets into the box and squares one in. And Asante Kotoko escaping from that onslaught. Amid Walker once again. There you have him. Taking the ball out front. The goalkeeper Osman comes out to win. Same things there for Nations. Just 9 minutes to go. Razak Simpson trying to urge his men forward. Comes Zoli here for Nations FC. Entrisapon wins possession. Gets the upper body strength. And Entrisapon turn away. Asante Kotoko back again. Defending the lines gallantly. Nations with Kwambuachi. Kwambuachi again, not the best of control. Again, Asante Kotoko. Patrick Asiedu. Oh, the ball tangling just in between his feet there, but somebody sorted himself out in all sort of trouble. Asante Kotoko. And here comes Nations looking for an equalizing goal, but the Kotoko clearly moving forward now. They have to now find a way to put pressure on Nations, and it is going to be yet again a very poor play there between Amidu Akwa and Albert Tamwa.
Yeah, but fortunately for him, he wins himself a free kick that gave the ball away for a moment, but I think referee Vomo just had to play the advantage for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Again, there's so much pressure now on Kotoko. You look at the way they're attacking Nations FC, throwing more men forward.
Very now going to be Richard Danso is coming in for Evans. Suffolk. In the second half, he's been pretty much quiet, isn't he?
I think he has.
Make 3 substitutions there. And now Peter Pashi also coming in. And also being put out is Entrisapon. We also do have substitutions coming in as well for Nations. Abdullah Mashour and Kelvin Ampofo is also being given a chance to come in. Zakaria with the control. Asiedu. Not the best of call there for the referee for his effort. Asante Kotoko might be making some double substitution. Midwalker is being withdrawn for Morfin Donsu. And that's the decision. We do have Asante Kotoko also trying to introduce Yakubu Dogo into the game. I said Albert Amwa is equally out of the game as well after scoring a goal, gets blooded from the fans.
Well, you think with just 6 minutes and plus some added on time to be played, and throwing in 2 attackers by.
Here comes Morfin Donsu's first attempt in the 18-yard box. Dogo is waiting for the ball. Not the best of control. Kotoko just have a player down. Referee now whistles what is a penalty for Asante Kotoko. Baba Yaya is the man who's just been brought down. I just did mention to you that Kotoko have won 4 penalties this season, 3rd best in the league this season, with Samba O'Neill and Morfin Donsu all converting for Asante Kotoko, and this might be their 5th penalty this season, and yet again Morfin Donsu has just been brought on.
Yeah, it's a huge call. It's a huge call, and they have 2 of their best takers on the pitch now. But just look at that, the hold-up play, from Morfin Donsu again, and that was the ball. Yeah. And no attempt to win the ball there at that point, and I think it was a bit reckless there, a bit sloppy there. But it was a heavy touch from Dogo, and you could see Rampofu just catching his marker there cleanly, and I think that was just the right call. But it all started with that hold-up play by Morfin Donsu. That touch there, it was a bit awkward by Dogo, but I think that was just a penalty. Graham.
The man who's going to convert, Samba O'Neill, at the moment is the top scorer for Asante Kotoko this season with 5 goals. Is he ready to make it the 6th for the season? And Samba O'Neill is the man to see if he can have a 6th goal for Asante. Samba O'Neill! 6 goals this season for the centre-back. And Asante Kotoko may appear to be home and dry now with a 2nd goal, and the fans gonna fall to jubilate, and maybe this might signal the return of Porcupine Tertiary and the young Porcupines to celebrate with them.
Yeah, certainly it was a well-deserved goal. And for a moment I was questioning the decision by Prince Owusu to throw on 2 attackers when you have a 1-0 lead in a fixture you've never won before, but I think it paid off just seconds later. But what about that, for a finish by Samba O'Neill? And you talk about experts from 12 yards, you certainly can count on him. Just a bit up there, yeah, and no chance at all for Robinson on. And in a fixture where Kotoko has never scored at home, scoring 2 and keeping a clean sheet at this point will be crucial for the remaining games. But that was an expertly taken penalty kick from Samba O'Neill.
And a centre-back really carrying Asante Kotoko pretty much high this season in terms of the Premier League performance. And this is where Kotoko would appear that for the very first time, and they may have opportunity to see if they can see off Nations FC picking their very first win against the closest neighbours or perhaps rivals. There's about 3 minutes to go there, and so I'm looking to see how Asante Kotoko can also find themselves better. Well, a win here for Asante Kotoko means that they move up on paired with 42 points. Maziboku move 4th as well. And so there's going to be a very interesting display there in terms of the games played this season and how Other fixtures there, Brecum Chelsea leading Kayla by 2-0. And Bechem United also leading Adriana by 2-1. And Dreams FC also leading Midiama by 2-1. Gold Stars and Vision FC goalless. And Basaka Holy Stars leading Young Apostles by 1-0. And again, there's another pull back here. And I tell you what, Oko Gripman.
I think that was Brian. Yeah, with a pull there, it was Brian certainly. And a moment ago, he was giving away a penalty.
Yes.
Now he goes into the books of referee Vomo.
Yeah, I tell you. So it's 2-1 Bechem United against Adriana Stars, and 2-1 Dreams against Midiama, 2-0 Asante Kotoko against Nations, and this time Kotoko looking forward. The flag had already gone up. And I'm just trying to give you the pattern of the scorelines here. And Brecum Chelsea 2, Karela 0.
Yeah, quite a couple of home teams like scoring 2 goals today.
Yeah.
You have home dominant.
The only team with a single goal, there's Basaka Holy Stars there.
Yeah, I think the
and those stars also not able to score.
Yeah, but a chunk of the teams, scoring twice in their home games. And certainly that game at the Tubash Tutef could have a huge say as far as a title conversation is concerned, where Dreams 2-1 up.
Again, opportunity. Now, Morfin Donsu goes on the goalkeeper. Morfin Donsu goes to ground. What the referee says, what?
Hello Ghana, payday is here. Stand a chance to win instant cash prizes on Reveal Scratch for Win. Up to 1 million Ghana cedis to be won today. Get ready to play Reveal Scratch for Win to win big on Max. Stop scrolling and start winning. It's simple. Dial *787# on all networks. Choose your card type and select your lucky card for a chance to win big. Play with at least 5 Ghana cedis or more. You could win up to 1 million Ghana cedis in cash prizes instantly. Yes, you heard right. 1 million Ghana cedis.
I think he really needs that one to help skyrocket his confidence.
Goal one here by Nations Babayaya. Well, the introduction of Babayaya and Aminusa in the game seem to have changed a lot for Asante Kotoko in terms of their play. Well, again, this will be the very, very first time in 6 meetings there between Nations FC. The Nations have lost to Asante Kotoko, and they lost so with heavy defeat. 3-0 it was. 2 penalties there for Asante Kotoko. 1 converted by Samba O'Neill, increasing his goal tally to 6. And again, another 1 converted by Morphine Donsu as well. And so it was going to be Asante Kotoko's very first home win under the new coach, Prince Owusu. But the story remains, the Porcupine Warriors find themselves sitting third on the Premier League log with this emphatic win against Nations FC.
Yeah, they had to. They're still in the title race. The title conversation will continue right after this victory, and that's why they needed it. Their last 5 meetings against their city neighbors hasn't really gone their way. The first time they are picking up a win, the first time they scored here, and they just had to do it emphatically. 3-0. It is a statement win. That Kotoko is still in the title conversation, and it's a big win for the interim head coach Prince Owusu.
I'll tell you what, Gold Stars with a win at home means that they move up on the Premier League table, 48 points, 2 points above second place. Mediama AC and Emmanuel Kote was the man of the match there. Asante Kotoko now third with 42 points, same point with Hearts of Oak, and Adriana Stars sit fifth with 41, and Samatex 6th there with 36. But tell you what, the bottom half of the table, you do have a lot of talking point with Hull United, 11 Wonders, Young Apostles, and of course Brecum Chelsea there. But it finished here in Kumasi. Asante Kotoko.
All right, it's all done and dusted. 3 goals to the good for Asante Kotoko. It's a very, very welcome news for the fans. Although they were not at the stadium in their numbers, I'm sure that those who came really appreciate the effort put in by the team. Their last 2 matches have not gone their way, and so the fans were agitated a bit, and to the extent that majority of them decided not to come to the Babayara Stadium. And I think the lesser the crowd, the more impressive Kumasi Asante Kotoko are. And so they walk home 3 goals to the good, and we can only say congratulations to them. It's the first time they've also beaten Nations FC since Nations joined the Premiership. So it's a landmark victory for them. Coach Yao Preko and Coach Eben are still here with us. And so let's take a look at how the match went 90 minutes. I'll start off with Coach Sifa. There were a lot of technicalities in the game. Second half, did you see anything different from what we saw in the first?
Not really. But I think that Kotoko went too low. I'm talking about the way they were defending. At the point, they had 6 players within their lines. And so they allowed Nations players to even play within the half of Kotoko. And they were relying the counter with Peter Amidu Aqua, and which he had one glorious opportunity that he missed. I think that the players of Nations FC couldn't play today. Emmanuel Ano, Brandon Sapon, Richard Danso that came on. For me, I think that you give credit to Zakaria Fuseni and then Samba O'Neill. I think they were able to shield their goalkeeper Aziz Dari. He was just picking loose balls within his area. And I think that the 2 changes that Coach Prince did well. He saw the importance of bringing in more attacking players and also trying to replace Safo with Botre in midfield to try to get that stronghold of hit the midfield again. And then Prince also countered with 2 strikers, taking out Peter and then Albert Amwa, who has really worked. I'm talking about Albert Amwa, who has really worked. But I think that those 2 players also came, and then they were able to have that spaces, and then Kotoko had 2 clear penalties, and I think that the referee was on point by taking those 2 clear penalties. So Kotoko deserves to win this game. I mean, a team that we've not beaten before in the league, and then being the first time. Of course, you have to discipline him, and then Kotoko has discipline.
You have to punish them. Coach, yeah,
kudos to Coach Prince. I think tactically he got it right. You know, like Coach Eben said, you know, he took the risk by bringing in two strikers, taking out 2 strikers and bringing 2 strikers. And fortunate, it worked for him. But like I said, today has been a good day in the office, because everything, tactically, everything he brought on board worked for him. So it's a good step to step on it and then make sure that the up and coming matches they'll build more confidence after winning this game. So good for them.
Good win for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Of course, it gives them some hope. It gives them some impetus because it is not over until it is over. And do stay with us because towards the end of our discussion, we'll be bringing you the latest in terms of results from other venues, plus, of course, the league table. So we have a fair idea, the momentum that has been created from match day 26 as we head into match day 27. It's been wonderful. Don't forget, we'll be crossing over to the Baba Yara Stadium again to pick up the views of the head coaches at the end of 90 minutes. Let's find out exactly what the coaches will have to say. And then after that, of course, we will also be identifying who the most valuable player for the match is after 90 minutes. So, Eben, let me come back to you again. Kotoko had to take a certain risk, as Coach Yao said, especially with the changes that they made. But when you take a look at the first 11 that came out, and then the subsequent changes that were made, let's try and think into Coach Prince's mind. What was he trying to achieve?
Well, he was trying to use Johnson Opon and Peter Mido Aqua. Let's run at them. When you get tired, I'll bring your colleagues. Fresh limbs. And of course, I'm sure that was the discussion he had with them. So you could clearly see that Johnson was running and he got tired. So he has to be taken off. Peter was running, he has to be taken off. Albert was running, he has to be taken off. And apart from those changes that he made, the back line he didn't change. And I think they defended very well. I think and Emmanuel Kote was solid. I mean, Patrick Asiedu, somebody like Zakaria Hussein, he hardly made a mistake today. So it clearly tells you that probably let's defend our lines very well. Prince Badu was somebody who was suspect, but he was also closer and close the gap between the defense and himself. So there wasn't any second ball that he lost within that area. Just that Hubert Jewu and of course Seth Kojo earlier part of the game. I think Inusa Adams came on. He was also on the line. He never cut in, but he was also running on the line. So there were a limited space for Nations FC, but just to try and then be in the Kotoko half. But decision making, their awareness were poor. You can't score. At the end of the day, Kotoko capitalized on the two substitutions that they made. I'm talking about Dogo Yakubu and Morifin Dosu. Of course, though their presence weren't that felt, but they were able to create some openings at the back of Nations FC. And I think that Oko Greatman was lucky to have been on the pitch. He should have been sent off when he stepped on Albert Amwa. Initially foul, and then he also stepped on him. The referee should have shown him the record.
Sure. Well, tough game it has been for Nations. They came out hunting for the 3 points, if not for at least a point. But they go back to Abrankese without a point to show. But of course, they came into battle, and it started quite well for them. They themselves could have gotten the first goal in the first half. But unfortunately, that opportunity was missed by the front runners, Emmanuel and not particularly. Let's head back to the stadium as we take a breather, and then the coaches will also be telling us their thoughts going into 90 minutes of the game.
Nations FC. Now I'm here with the head coach of Nations FC, Frimpong Master. Coach, in the end, your team lost. Sorry about that. But do you think the scoreline is a true reflection of what you saw?
No, not at all. If you look at the goals we conceded, they are all goals that can be avoided. The last, I think, 10 minutes, I mean, we were just giving up balls and then they were just giving us the counter-attack. No, for me, I think we make a lot of mistakes, especially in the last 10 minutes. That was why we conceded the 3 goals. Other than that, I don't think it's a true reflection of the game.
Now, they say football is defined by fine margins. Just right after missing that opportunity from Emmanuel and Kotoko score, do you think that was the turning point in the game?
Yeah. If we had taken the chance or our chances, maybe it would have been a different thing. But sometimes football, it happens, so you cannot blame players so much. So yes, we accept defeat.
Well, after 3 games defeat on the road, what needs to change about the team going into match day 27?
Yeah, we'll look at the mistakes. and then we try to move forward. Yeah.
Well, Frimpong Manso is the head coach of Nations FC. He's a Ghana Premier League winner, by the way, with BBNE Gold Stars. And thanks for your time, Frimpong. We'll be joined by the head coach of Asante Kotoko, Prince Yao Owusu, as well. And he'll be telling us how he masterminded this win for the Porcupine Warriors. After 4 attempts of not being able to beat Nations FC, finally, Asante Kotoko. I know he was partying back there, but he's here, Coach Prince Yao Owusu. First of all, congratulations to you for winning this one. How would you sum up the performance of the boys today?
Yeah, I think the boys gave it all out. As you asked me before the game, and I told you that we cannot lose this game, we cannot draw this game. It must be a win to make the fans also happy. And the boys did exactly that.
Of course. 3 goals in the back for you against a team that you've never beaten before. How does that feel?
Yeah, it tells me about the attitude of the boys. They told me today, whatever happens out there, they're going to win the game.
I mean, you spoke about, prior to the game, you talked about the title race still wide open. How important is this win for Asante Kotoko in that conversation?
Yeah, it is good, but still I've not heard of the other results yet. But this is very good for us to make a big statement in the league.
Well, you've not heard of other results. I can tell you Gold Stars won and Mediema lost their game against Dreams FC.
Thank you.
Oh, Coach, you said what?
Thank God.
I mean, his second goal that Mediema lost, but Frisia also an interesting character. Emmanuel Korte, he was out for a longer period because of injury. He's back and he's balling, getting an assist today. Emma, congratulations to you. How does it feel, first of all, to be back on the pitch after that lengthy injury?
Thank you. I feel very happy, and being out for 1 year is not easy, and I thank God for coming back.
Of course, and your performance. I mean, it's not easy for players to come back and just integrate themselves back into the squad. But you've been able to keep up a good performance and winning MVP today. What has contributed to that?
Let me say, we the players are very disappointed in our position and our results. But we are going to fight. We are going to plead with the supporters to rally behind us, and we are going to make them happy.
Of course. Thanks very much, Kote. That is...
All right, so the most valuable player, Emmanuel Kote, he's done very well. He went out for a year, like he rightly said, an injury that footballers really find difficult to deal with. I mean, how bad is an injury such as ACL, and how difficult is it to come back?
I've been there. I had ACL.
You did?
Yeah, I had ACL.
How long did you stay out of the game?
A year, 2003. 2003, out of nothing. Out of nothing.
Is it an injury you picked up?
It was a corner kick, so I stay on top, and it's just some minutes to half time.
Yeah.
So the goalkeeper caught the ball and then counter. So I had to block the defender to protect the ball.
Sure.
Immediately I felt something like that in my knee, and that's all.
And that was it.
It doesn't take a lot to get injured, especially ACL. It doesn't get.
But it takes a while.
It takes a while for you to come back. So I'm happy to see him on the pitch, because I keep telling my players, I pray for none of you to get ACL, because ACL, especially in Ghana, the rehab itself is another matter altogether.
Wow.
So after the operation, you know, Europe, we have the machines and the everything for you to come back quickly. But here, even what to eat and the right food to eat for the muscles to grow again, and the rehab in the gym and everything is another matter altogether. And if you don't get the right person to lead you, you might go 1.5 years or 2 years without coming back.
Back. Wow.
Yeah, ACL, especially here. So I'm happy to see him. I don't know how long he's been out of the.
He's been over a year.
Over a year.
Yeah, he's been over a year. He has been out for a while.
Yeah. I think he has really worked to be back.
Yeah, and it also depends.
Upon his return, his first game, he have to go off again. But I'm happy today he played and even won the MVP. I was happy for him.
Because you get a lot of setbacks, because Sam Johnson had double ACL.
Oh
yes,
for you himself.
He's fortunate to play because of his muscles. He has strong muscles. So after the ACL, after the first ACL, he had second, and the first ACL was in 37. The late blaster doctor, I forget his name, 37. I came on holidays and I was told Sam is on is at 37.
Yeah.
I went there and I saw him with the crutch. I said, "Oh, Paddy, said, Charlie,
strong man.
Yes, strong man. I turned to old man. I said, Paddy, can't worry about him. I went there, I visited him, but he forced himself to come back, and you need to work a lot. It needs your muscles to be strong. If you don't work on your muscles, trust me, coming back, and then you start having muscle problem. And when you are aging, when you are in your 20s, is different. But immediately you hit 27, 28 going, it's difficult to come back.
That's where the problem comes from. Wow. So Kote, we are glad that you are back on the field. You are doing what you love to do the most and the best, and just keep up with the good work, the hard work. Congratulations on winning the most valuable player today. We'll be taking a look at the results on the screen, and then we will see how the league table looks like. So as you know, yesterday Heart of Lions drew goalless with Kotoko. That's on Friday, I beg your pardon. 11 Wonders also drew with FC Samatex 2-2. Today, Kotoko have won by 3-0. Dreams FC have beaten the league leaders by 2-1. Basake Holy Stars beat Young Apostles 1-0. Gold Stars managed to get a goal against Vision FC before full time. Brekum Chelsea stayed at home, comfort zone of the Golden City Park. They beat Karela by 2-0. Swedru All Blacks also managed to pick 3 points at the expense of Hohoi United FC. And at the Nana Fosujiawo Park, Chem United rode majestically to victory, beating Adriana FC by 2-1. Gentlemen, these are the scores at a glance from the various stadia. Which of the results would you say has been impressive for you? I'll start with you, Coach Eben.
Well, I think Bichim have done very well. Adriana is Adriana is a strong team.
Sure.
Bichim is not playing well this season. Adriana, away from Doma, is even better playing at Doma. And this very venue, they went just last week to beat Techiman Liberty by 3 goals, so they know how to play. And I think that Augustine Okra and his colleagues have done very well.
They've done very well.
I also have to congratulate Johnson Smith. He still made the place Fortress. I'm talking about AA Arena, AAK Arena in Zima. I mean, Basake Holy Stars meeting Young Apostles. And I think Dreams have done well. Apart from Karela that has gone there to upset them, no team has been able to go to Tuba to win. Kotoko, of course, the first team to beat Nations 3. I don't remember the last time Nation, I don't remember when Nation considered 3 without an answer. So kudos to Coach Prince and the Kotoko players. I think
none of the results shock you?
Well, 11 Wonders, of course. I mean, against Samatex, that was yesterday. 2-2. I mean, they are the Ripping Boys of the side. So
for them to at least pick up a point
from Samatex, and for me, that was the surprise results. The rest of them, I wasn't surprised.
All right, home wins. So at this stage,
home wins. That is Sunday's game.
Sunday, home wins, and
all the matches played today were home wins.
To survive, you need to win.
Salah matches are draw.
The Salah matches.
That's on Friday, you know.
Yes. The Juma matches.
Okay, so there's a change at the top of the table. Mediama have given way to next in line. So now BBNE Gold Stars are at the top on 48 points. Mediama follow on 46. Kumasi Asante Kotoko have moved to 42. So which means they've climbed over Accra Hearts of Oak because they couldn't win their match. Adriana, well, they're still languishing in there. They have 41 points. It's not clearly done and dusted yet. Karela are also within the top 6. That's good enough for them. Samatex, by virtue of winning just a point on Friday, maintain the 7th position. Basake Holy Stars have come to the 8th position. Dreams are still in there. Their noses are in the 9th position. On the 10th spot is Heart of Lions. And the 11th is Nations. They have dropped some valuable points. Vision are 12th on the table. Bechem United climb up to the 13th position. Swedru All Blacks are still battling there in the 14th position. And then the 15th position is Brekum Chelsea. So, relegation zone looks like this. Hohoi United have dropped, and so they enter the 16th position. Young Apostles were also beaten, and so they have the 17th position on 30 points. And then 11 Wonders bring up the rear on 10 points. Battle between Young Apostles and Hohoe United. It will be interesting to find out how one of them get themselves out of the relegation zone if they can. For now, Brekum Chelsea, they have a breather because they have moved out into the 15th position. Swedru All Blacks won. They picked up 3 points, but again, it's not over until it's over. Good result for Bechem United, 13th position. So again, they inch closer out of the relegation zone. Difficult times for Vision FC, 12th position. Nations, by virtue of the loss against Kotoko, 11th position, and Heart of Lions occupy the 10th position, which also gives us a very, very fair idea of how cagey the encounters will be between now and match day 34, when the curtains are lowered on the Ghana Premier League. Top of the table battle, Sefa. What happened to Mediama?
Well, I think that
they opened the gap, 5-point lead, 7-point lead. Now it's just an overtaking of them.
You see, you need to give credit to Baby Gold Stars. And I think that after the exit of Frimpong Manson, I think that they put their house in order and they began to win their matches. Mediama were dropping. Mediama were not losing, but they were drawing. And when the moment you draw 3 matches, you've lost 6 points.
You've lost a long way.
So it tells you that Mediama playing the draw, especially the game against All Blacks, the game against Samates, and the one they lost at home against Hohoe United, really made Gold Stars. And I think that defending champions, they are really doing well. Gold Stars are really doing well.
Well, they say champions die hard, and so they would want to go all the way to the very top. Yeah, for your team. Draw soon,
Draw masters.
Draw masters. Home. Draw.
But still,
away, draw.
Look, when you look at the table, there's still
a chance.
There's still a chance.
They have their noses in there.
Yeah, 6. The first 5. There's still anybody at all can win the league,
depending on how you're.
Exactly, because they are back in the game. They are back in the title. Kotoko is back, but I think Kotoko is playing Aduana next match.
Yes.
Which is going to be very difficult.
Which will be difficult. It's one of the tough matches to look out for.
And Haas is playing
All Blacks.
Home again. And then Gold Stars is going to I think they
are going to
Karela. Yeah,
so we shouldn't write Hearts off yet.
No, don't. All they have to just pick their home, because as in terms of away draw, they are good at it.
But their last 3 or so home games, they drew all. That's why their fans are not happy.
All they need to do is they win their home.
It's not been wonderful at home.
Yes,
losing 12 points at home.
That's not hassle.
Certainly not. Certainly not.
So, like we saw Coach Prince thanking God for somebody's loss, and so they believe there's chance for the top 5, any of them to win. So they are back in, and it's going to make the last 8 matches or 7 matches very interesting.
Well, last 8 matches will be very interesting, and do stay with us because all the action will be here. We will run you through the story of how we declare the league champions, how teams perform on the table, and of course, who is going to be saying goodbye to us at the end of this season. We already know that we will not have 11 wonders with us, but we have all agreed that they have some quality in their team, and I'm sure their players will be snapped up as and when the opportunity comes. Many thanks to Coach Yao Preko spending his time with us. We've really enjoyed his presence. Coach Eben has also been with us as usual, adding his experience to the panel discussion, and we say thank you very much on behalf of the entire crew that made it possible for us to link you to the Baba Yara Stadium for today's featured match. We say thank you very much to them as well. My name is Prince and enjoy the rest of our programs here on Max TV.
Looking for a fast and stress-free shopping? Shop now on maxbuy.com and get free delivery and free installation. Order your phones and appliance today. Order today and get same-day delivery straight to your doorstep. Maxbuy, convenience at its best.
Hello Ghana, payday is here. Stand a chance to win instant cash prizes on Reveal Scratch for Win. Up to 1 million Ghana cedis to be won today. Get ready to play Reveal Scratch for Win to win big on Max. Stop scrolling and start winning. It's simple. Dial *787# on all networks. Choose your card type and select your lucky card for a chance to win big. Play with at least 5 Ghana cedis or more. You could win up to 1 million Ghana cedis in cash prizes instantly. Yes, you heard right. 1 million Ghana cedis in cash prizes. Don't miss out on the chance to win big. Dial *787# to play now. Reveal Scratch for Win. Scratch keke. Nedi sika say bam. You must be 18 years and above to play. Terms and conditions apply. This game is regulated and approved by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
The Kwanzas have been making noise 3 days non-stop, screaming and laughing all the time. This can't go on.
This 3 days. How?
She went and knocked on the door. Pam pam pam. All we could hear is sister laughing and shouting. Hey, Esimatison. And a landlord teaching.
Not in this house. Not in this house.
He didn't even know. And no problem. Oh, and in 5 seconds. Why not Catalina? Mami sumini chinkore. Then I am using Star Times decoder. And no more chisumu.
Na in Kache, the fun is getting loud on Star Times. Enjoy the best of local and foreign drama. Mean to me, and know the Biarada. Out of your seat action from the Bundesliga, GPL matches, and more. The finest telenovela